Okay.
I swear to God, if this has technical issues when I watch this back in like a few hours, I'm gonna lose it. But for now,
Yeah, yeah. We've suffered much to get this far.
Yeah.
Who wants to recap last time?
well, the two that were mainly here, I guess.
I got notes once we get out of the fight, so you go ahead with that.
Yep. Well, we started up the fight. I don't have a whole lot on them, but um,
You started
Alsana.
the fight and you finished the fight.
Yeah, we started the fight. We finished the fight. Some were weak to fire, some weren't, and I was a bit disappointed in that.
That's one word for it.
Yeah.
Um,
Some of the villagers got some kills in. Surprisingly, Kalda and Alaris were kind of in front of villagers, pelting blights with slings. Yep, and we cleaned up. There was about like 3 or 4 of each kind of blight. A few less thorn, I think, but on average. Alright, Mister has notes from the fight.
I said I have it from after the fight.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, once we got out of the fight, we basically went back to the inn to be like, okay, first of all, everyone good? Cool. Second of all, let's try to figure out what the fuck just happened and, where we're gonna go from here.
Brief summary was this place gets invaded by blights, and we were invaded by blights. Just a few more this time.
Basically. And more frequently than usually. I talked to a dude in the corner named Bolton. He's a bitch. His family is landowners. They dislike Alaris because he has actual leadership skills, apparently.
And they dislike you because you trounced in a random outsider trying to tell them what's what.
Also true. Next off, he basically found out that the crown, I think was how it was phrased, or basically the people in charge of the government or royalty or whatever, not helped much with the blight problem. Probably seen as a more minor town thing.
I think it boiled down to, why don't you have more guards? And it's like, yeah, thanks, we didn't think of trying that.
I said literally the opposite of that. Like I literally said, like I know you can't get more guards. Have you considered this alternate option? Moving on. Alsana theorized off a natural 20 roll that Devin milked the shit out of that things from the Shadowfell and related creatures are corrupting the plants, turn them into blights. Small kids are the ones.
You're jumping ahead there. After Alsana tortured the poor kid on the top of the guard post, Oatmeal, or as I like to call him,
Of course you call him oatmeal.
Yep, Alaris went and checked on his wife and kid, and found his kid with the other kid, and they were talking about some spooky Stranger Things shit that they saw. Alaris is like, no, I actually believe you, even though the younger kid, who turned out to be the younger kid of that same guy who told Kane to shove it, or was it kid or was it just family member?
Kid.
Okay.
Kid.
Yep, could apparently see a ghost, and Alaris's kid, name. I'm scrolling for it. Alaris, what's your son's name?
Gage.
Gage. Gage apparently had seen it like once or twice before, but hasn't recently, and this is setting off bells in my mind. And as Alaris comes and regales us with this little interaction he had with the kids, it sets off bells in Elsana's mind. Turns out it's a not quite undead or ghost or anything. It's a kind of soulless husk, but still kind of considered a living thing, or a creature of some sort that wandered from the Shadowfell, was originally someone who got lost in the Shadowfell. Can only be seen by kids age 10 and below, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And or under the light of a candle made from an unidentified corpse, or just the lantern of revealing we had and called it didn't really mention until like 10 minutes into the conversation about finding a corpse on the side of the river. But yep, and so we go, okay, well if that's from the Shadowfell, it clearly had to get here somehow. Well, this is Alsana's line of thought. Had to get here somehow, and blight only usually happens from influence of bad magic. So there's got to be a portal, or at least an influence from the Shadowfell maybe around somewhere. Or someone summoned it, and they're influencing other things. As further research, we decided, or at least Alsana and Alaris decided, to pay a visit to something Seraphina Greenbottle. Old lady of the town, herbalist, alchemist, what have you, and has been here for a very long time. So long, in fact, that she remembers a time where the forest was not so terrible and blight-filled. And in fact, was wonderful and great, and you could go wandering and always find your way back, because it was blessed by a unicorn. Apparently said unicorn had like a kind of grove temple place that it had, somewhere in the middle, or at least it was talked of that it did. The name was, where is it? Conrad, do you have the name of the unicorn written down? Master of the Forest.
Okay.
Well, there wasn't any specific one given past that, right?
Not that I recall.
And I think it was just Master of the Forest. But yeah, apparently he kind of stopped showing up, and then the blight happened, and we're getting more of a picture of the thing in our minds. As well, Seraphina herself is just a herbalist and alchemist from a long line of herbalists and alchemists, was born into it. Alsana liked her and kind of made quick friends with her, and she patched up the hole in her shoulder made by a thorn blight. Also mentioned Shayna Sunmeadow, who is her current apprentice, that I know for a fact the GM does not have any plans for, but I'm gonna go and talk to her anyways. Or at least didn't at the time. I don't, probably by now. We're getting too meta. What did Kane and Calda, did they get up to anything?
I mean, you ran into a door.
Right,
What?
yes. Alsana ran into a doorway because I rolled horribly for her dex on her broom.
So once we found out, we basically had a few different ways to potentially find this creature other than using children. Kane polished his shield and went fishing.
Right, yes. And
it was basically just discussion about that.
yeah, no, I just remember that it was Alaris and Alsana that went out to visit a Greenbottle, and I was in my mind, it's like Calda and Kane were doing something else. Couldn't remember if they did or not, but I didn't have anything written down, so I wasn't sure. Yeah, after that, we did some kind of not quite housekeeping, but just small things here and there. Also Alsana bought some seeds off the nice lady. One was for a very specific kind of plant that I didn't think there'd be, but a nice roll gave it to me anyways. And some mixed seeds and some, was it lantern vine? Hold on, I have it. I think I have it in
I got nothing on that one.
Yeah, no, I have it in my sheet, I think. Lamp vine. Yeah, just called lamp vine. Apparently it's an anti-undead and it glows when there's undead or just general evil things around. She got some seeds from that as well, and then later stopped by the graveyard where they said they have it planted in case of undead and stuff like that. Alsana made although there weren't any, she made one bloom with a druid craft, and then tied it to her broom and took it with her and kind of zooped around the forest for a while to see if she got any pings. Didn't go too far in, but spent I think it was a few hours doing it. Didn't really find much.
It was snowing and you were kind of keeping it close,
Mhm.
so I assume there was a bit of a back and forth search pattern.
Yep, pretty much. Return, not really finding much except what she's kind of come to expect at this point. And I don't think there was much else. Kane did his fishing and his shield polishing, and we were basically kind of preparing to go out the next day.
And one thing I forgot to mention, I basically gave one fish to the innkeeper and one fish to Alaris's family.
All right. Well, in that case, the
Yeesh.
innkeep might have cooked up that fish for you for dinner that night.
Well, he would have cooked his own elsewhere to make sure everyone ate in the group.
Okay.
Just as a thank you for putting up with them for that.
Okay. That is noted.
I'm gonna be right.
Okay. So. Oh, point of curiosity. Alsana does not like sleeping in a room with any light in
Yes.
it. The lamp fine is naturally luminous. It's not when undead are around, it dims when undead are around. It's otherwise fairly bright.
Yes.
So did she put something over it, pack it away, or
Probably, yeah.
okay.
You said it stayed like usable for like a number of days, right?
Not quite. I looked up what the thing was, and I know how long it's going to be usable.
All right.
So
Yeah. Well, you said she estimated at least like a day, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Then she might just kind of maybe maybe just hang it from her door on the outside. Just kind of like put the branch in between the doorway.
All right. So yeah, you just wedge it up in the door frame and let it hang outside your room, and kind of be a nightlight in the hallway instead of inside your inn room.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, everything is as sealed as possible. I believe the window shutters are still terribly stuck.
Oh yeah, they haven't discovered the window shutters yet.
Mm-hmm. And she's not gonna be one to tell them.
Okay. All right. Everybody make sure you've taken your long rest on your sheets. And morning comes. It is to do, again, that fresh blanket of snow on the ground. Not a very thick one, but noticeable. It smoothed out a lot of the divots, a lot of the traffic where the snow of the past winter had been beaten down by the number of passing feet through and around the village. And the morning is sharp, cold, but it's clear. Those in the inn wake up. Rooms are as they were when you went to sleep. You go about your morning preparations. Anything you'd like to do before going downstairs, let me know. Elaris, you wake up in your own home.
Mm-hmm.
With Aurora next to you and Gage in the room over. Eventually they rise and get you some breakfast to eat. You'll sit down for a family meal.
Just as a small aside,
Yes.
I forgot to add it to my sheet, but Alsana would have prepared Flaming Sphere.
Okay.
Just
Go
as a
ahead
kind
and...
of signifying of that right now.
Alright.
I'll just uncheck another one.
Yeah, basically, this is your chance to do any switch ups that you would do as you prepare for the day.
Yep.
It's not going to be a problem if it was in the middle of combat, then it might have been.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it now. So it's I'll probably I can just prepare it as we're going. I just don't have it on my sheet right now, but I'm just as a, anyways.
Yeah, you're fine for right now.
Caden's gonna do his standard to take care of his weapons as he gets ready for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually step downstairs, greet the innkeeper, see if anyone else is awake.
You get downstairs and you sit down. It's pretty quiet for the morning. I am running on the assumption you guys are fairly early risers, so correct me now if not the case.
Kane definitely is.
Definitely.
Yeah, probably. Cald would probably wake up when Kane does.
Alsana varies, but if we're doing something today, then yeah, she'd get up at least decently so.
Okay. Little hard to judge time when you block out all outside light.
She's used to it.
Yeah, okay, fair. Alright. You get up, you troop downstairs. The basic filling porridge breakfast is provided. And as you eat, you see coming in the front door a couple of the villagers. They throw glances at you over at your table, but go to their own. You continue eating, and in come a few more, again to their own tables, but there's a growing level of whispering and those glances thrown.
Alsana uncomfortably matches the glances of anyone who looks her way.
Yep. And it is uncomfortable because the instant any of them see you looking right back, they turn directly back to whatever is in front of them.
Yeah, she's just got an eye at the whole group and is like looking for someone to even look at the vague direction so she can just match it and make them look away.
Yep. You catch several, sometimes multiple at a time. They kind of try to hide it. They're trying to seem like they're not looking too much, but there's little flickers of the eyes, like they almost can't help it. After a few more minutes, a few more come in. The common area of the inn is maybe a quarter of the way full.
Any more glances coming with the more people?
It's here and there. As you're finishing up, actually in walks a fellow Kane would recognize from the previous night, one Mr. Bolton.
Kane will do like the fake tip his hat towards him.
Yeah. He completely ignores you. Unlike everybody glancing your way, he is seeming to walk as if you don't exist. By his side is a woman that looks about roughly his age as well. She's got long blonde hair that's tied back in kind of this updo bun. They don't actually order anything from, meal-wise from the inn. They just get a couple of cups of tea and sit down at their own table. They pretty much commandeer the whole thing to themselves.
Mm.
And they sit quietly and drink their tea.
Can Alsana give a glance to see who has been looking the most in the direction of the group?
I'd say go ahead and do perception check.
23.
All right. It's a little bit of a toss-up, honestly. But one that catches your eye perhaps is a human, a man. And he looks actually there's something about his face, some of his features, that looks vaguely familiar, perhaps. And I'd say on that perception, it takes a minute, but then it clicks that, oh, he looks fairly similar in a way to that boy that you picked on in that tower. Perhaps a relation?
Alright. She'll stand up and she'll walk over.
Alright. And he's sitting with a couple others. There's a halfling couple, there's another human at his table, and the whole table just kind of goes quiet as every single one looks up at you as you approach.
My oh my, I can't help but notice all the glances being stolen our ways. To what do we owe the pleasure?
Well, what's it to you?
Well, I seem to be catching just a bit of eyeballs from every direction, and I'd just like to know what's so interesting.
Well, I mean, you in general? Your others? Alaris goes off for a day or two and comes back with a bunch of, well, you're weird, okay? And then you yeah, you defended Walton. We're not making any bones about that. But we're just kind of wondering some things.
Are you
And
afraid I'm gonna
a
hex you?
meeting. Roll an insight check.
Alright. Nope. Hard to
You
read.
know, yeah, he's hard to read. He keeps a stone face, and should I be?
Well, if you keep the pout on your face, I could think about it. I'm kidding.
My
No.
boys said some things about you, flying on a broom, and
Oh, good,
there's
it
all
gets
that talk
around.
of corpses. And look, we're not gonna be upset about you defending us. Or anything. It's we're grateful, really. Even if you're bizarre. But a meeting's been called for the town, and well, it's anybody's guess what it's about, and you being a topic seems a fair bet.
Oh my, I didn't think I'd be so popular so quick.
Well, it's not just you, understand? He nods towards your table.
Oh,
Everyone in the
the
group
boring
there.
ones too. Okay. I see how it is.
Boring.
They swing swords and stuff. Although honestly,
You don't
Alaris is the more interesting, although I guess you have your fair share of familiarity there.
Yeah, well, swinging swords isn't. Swords aren't really a thing in this village, really. Nobody has one unless maybe the Boltons have some on their wall or something. Family heirlooms, I don't know. But they're not used, so. Yeah, you're weird. They're weird. Look, can we just go back to our breakfast until everybody shows up?
I'm just curious, are the Boltons the ones spearheading the little meeting?
Well, it's kind of a village thing.
Yes.
Yeah, the Boltons put out the first call, but if nobody wanted
and everyone
to come
goes
or
along
show
with
up,
what they say.
Well, if we didn't want to, we wouldn't.
She raises an eyebrow.
We want to know what's going to be said.
Well, there we can agree. I do as well.
So,
Just, well, if you're bringing the pitchforks and the torches, just make sure to sharpen them first.
what, you think we're going to run you out?
she kind of like puts a face on the side of the hand. Oh, are you implying that? I was just joking, dear.
What's implying mean?
It's when you, lead on to something without saying it outright. When you mean to say something, even if you don't.
You see this puzzled look on his face, like somebody who's trying to figure out complex algebra inside his own head. Okay.
A personal question, perhaps less broad then. Are you related to the, young guard on the tower who was operating the other day?
Daryl. He's my oldest.
The resemblance certainly shows.
Yeah. He didn't get too much of his mother in him, I'm afraid.
Why do you say it like that? What are you afraid of?
He actually kind of physically draws back a little bit, like, what the hell? All over his face. He doesn't say it, but you read it in the air. You don't even need an insight check for that one. Look, Can we just... And he gestures at his plate of food and his table of companions who were very studiously taking care of their food, one careful bite at a time, eyes on their meals.
Oh,
Door opens, little blast of air, some more villagers trickle in.
I'm
Find the
sorry if
table.
I hit a nerve. Well, I'll be off then. I guess, be sure to vote for me if the group meeting goes a bit more of a fun direction. Alright? Alright.
Alright.
And she just, like, flicks some, like, magical glitter his way as she walks off with Druidcraft.
He jumps, and as you walk away, you hear a little start of whispering at the table again, and after a minute, you notice that they have all kind of edged their chairs carefully around away from the part of the table where he had been sitting, just in case, maybe. In the meantime, Elaris, you get, as you're finishing your breakfast, you hear a knock on your front door.
I head towards the door and I open it.
Okay. You actually see your neighbor who lives in the thatched cottage just to the south of you. I'll point it on the map if you are on there. And you know him as Whidbey Groves. Kind of an older fellow, not elderly exactly, but he's pushing on towards that. And he's... Well, what are you waiting for? We got a village meeting. I don't know if you've been told yet, but it's up at the Spiral Horn.
No, I just woke up. Okay.
Fetch Aurora, if she wants to come.
Okay. And
We'll be heading up there. We'll meet you there in a minute. You see the Groves walk over to the horn.
Aurora?
Yes? I heard.
There's a village meeting, apparently.
I heard.
Yeah.
Well, come on, Gage. Let's go ahead
Let's
and...
get going.
Yeah. I'll meet you there. I'm going to bring Gage over to the Penderwills. I'm sure that Robert's there as well. And you know that the Penderwills, they actually live next to the Boltons, but they're good sorts. They tend to watch the children of the village whenever parents need a little bit of time or can't take care of them for a little bit for some reason. So, you know that sometimes when the village meetings happen, they can get a little bit drawn out or boring, and it can be something of a trial when there's half a dozen small children getting extremely bored in a small room. So the Penderwills tend to kind of keep back a little bit and take care of them for you. So you head across the center of town together until you kind of hit about the well where Gage and Aurora split off towards that house. You can continue to the Spiral Horn, or you can wait for Aurora outside, whichever you prefer. But Aurora gets to the Penderwills' house, knocks on the door. It opens, and you see her speak with Mary Penderwill for a second, and a friendly, more elderly face than Whidbey's. And she nods, and you see Robert poke his head around from behind her skirt and give a little bit of a wave to Gage, and they dart inside. Aurora turns and comes back over. You go ahead and enter the inn. It's about half full. See the Boltons, there's the Groves over there. See Carver, the Sun Meadows, the Merrymakers.
Alsana gives a wave.
Yeah, the Sun Meadows were actually. Elaris would know this, Elsana would not. The Sun Meadows are actually the halfling couple sitting next to Davin Carver.
Yeah.
There's the Delver, Mr. Elquist. There's Milver and Arden Camp. Not long after you come in, Foresters, Bowman, Applecroft, Vilar, Stoutman. After a little while, the entire Meadowcrag family comes in. The matron of the family, Wilhelmina, her sister Emmeline, Emmeline's two children, Henry and Susanna, both teenagers, old enough to at least be present and pay attention and potentially take part.
Mhm.
And slowly, more trickle in. A few remain absent. There is no appearance from Seraphina Greenbottle by the time the inn is fairly full. A few others that Alaris would know were not there. The chatter in the room has risen to some extent, but there's still an undercurrent of murmuring here and there. Not quite whispers. Yeah. It's gotten a little bit too noisy for that, but there's a bit of a curious quality to some of it, furtive to others.
Okay.
You see your 3 companions from Threshold at a table on their own on one side.
Alright.
I assume that you'd go over with Aurora to join them.
Yep.
Unless you'd want to go too, okay.
Yeah.
You head over, you sit down. Aurora greets everybody. Good morning.
Hello, dear.
Good morning.
Hey there.
Glad to
Hope
see
you,
everybody here.
Hope you enjoyed the meal.
Oh yes, thank you. It was a beautiful fish.
Least I can do.
Well, you've already done so much, really. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what this is about. That blight attack was enormous.
Yeah. A
I don't
lot
know.
bigger than what we usually get.
I don't know how well we would have done if it had been just us.
Call me a pessimist, but I don't think they're, This might swing a different way if what I'm thinking is true.
Well, call me an optimist, but I'd rather hope otherwise.
Or maybe
I
they just
suppose
want
I
more
will.
fish.
Yes, it could be your overfishing, dear brother.
If it could be, that's the worst problem I've caused. I'm glad to have caused it.
Mm-hmm.
You always were the problem child.
Not gonna deny that.
Huh.
And about this point, you hear from kind of the fireplace end of the room a loud clanging, and you look over and you see the halfling proprietor of the inn, Lindell, beating the bottom side of a metal pot with a spoon. The hubbub in the room subsides to a hush. Alright, thank you all for attending at such short notice and such an early morning. A cold one, too. But we have things to discuss, matters of great importance for the entire village. Specifically, the blight. And, Mr. Bolton, if you'd like to take the first chair since you called for this. You see, and you see Gunter Bolton nod and unfold himself, not just stand up. There is a progression in the rise from his chair. Thank you, Lindell. As we all know, The Blight attacked yesterday. Thankfully, with no loss of life. You hear a small murmur of agreement through the room. Some people nodding, others kind of ducking their head briefly in remembrance, perhaps. And it should be said that some thanks are indeed owed to Alaris Tundrafist and the strangers he brought back to town with him the other day. However, this does signal a potential problem. The Blight, we all know, don't usually attack in such numbers, and so soon after a previous skirmish. It is my belief that something in that forest is very wrong. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, Alaris
And
raises his hand.
And it's getting worse. He stares at you, Alaris.
They've been getting bolder, and I think it's about time we actually went in and did something about it. I agree with Mr. Bolton's sentiments, and I elect a select few to come along with me and my compatriots to possibly aid or provide support while we look into matters pertaining to these blights and hopefully cut this problem out at the root.
Philomena laughs suddenly from the bar. Into the forest? You must be joking.
Into the forest.
No. You can't. Nobody goes into the forest and survives. Surely it would be better for you to remain here and protect us. That attack could have been terrible. You saved the entire village, potentially, and Bolton raises his hand. I wouldn't get too ahead of myself in that regard. True, they were instrumental, but we have held the line before and we can hold it again. However, I must agree that any further aid in bolstering our defenses would be welcome.
Surely something must be done.
However,
We need to
yes,
have a more proactive approach.
there is that. It's clear that the forest has grown too dangerous to be suffered any longer. It is the wrong season for it, but it may be best to set up trenches in the remainder of winter, and as soon as the dry season has begun, set it alight. Let the forest burn and let the blights burn with it. You can defend the village until then. We will gladly provide you shelter and sustenance. I own a couple of homes in the village that are free of inhabitants. I will provide these rent-free for the task of protecting us until it is safe and possible to destroy Soren Wood. And you hear this sudden burst of sound from everywhere in the room as people are as some people are jumping up like, destroy Soren, no you can't, that's our forest, that's our home, and others are going, no, he makes sense, this is what we have to do, we have to make some decisions.
Kano kind of like put his hand up and just wait for someone to call on him.
Nobody is calling on you. It takes a few minutes, and then before Lyndall finally grabs the pot and starts banging on it, clang, 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 clang. Even then, he has to beat on the bottom of the pot for a fair number of seconds before the hubbub settles again. With just enough staggering that you hear a few choice words from one person and another right before it finally quiets and they cut themselves off.
Kind of like gesture like, if I may.
You're strangers, but if you must.
Just a question of curiosity. Have you spoken of this with the residents of the other villages that border the Sorenwood?
Bolton folds his hand. Not yet, but I intend, if we agree upon this course of action, to have runners sent to everyone on the verges.
Are they also experiencing this blight problem?
As far as we know, yes, over the past years, though it's mostly the small villages and hamlets, unwalled and unprotected. We know that some have been completely overrun, as messengers have returned with word of empty homes and crumbling buildings overgrown by trees. The only one that seems to have had no trouble, or very little, is the town of Soren. It has actual walls and some defenses and a few town guard, so they've been better able to beat back the blight without loss. Or perhaps they just get hit less as a less tempting target. Regardless, I'm sure that everyone is eager to have this problem finally put under control and ended. It'll take some time. It's too wet, too much snow and runoff, both now and during the rainy spring. But soon the heat of summer will be upon us. Given a few months, it should be very easy to burn.
Alsana raises a hand while floating 5 feet in the air.
If you must.
I'm just somewhat curious. How much does everyone here know about the blight? Other than, well, what you've dealt with in just the attacks that have happened on your village.
There's a little bit of a stir back and forth in the room as people whisper and
Forgive
murmur.
her, she's a bit brash.
Not much?
They are evil beings born of trees. Some are very flammable.
Mm-hmm.
They attack to kill for no reason other than seeming sport.
Alright. Now how much do each of you know about plants in general? Trees, more specifically, but bushes, stuff like that. You know, the forms they are kind of after.
You see a number of people raise their hands. Alaris, you know that this is a village of not just subsistence farming, but before the blight became so much of a problem, various woodcutters, foresters, you know that basically the woods are, in a sense, just part of the village in a cultural way. So yes, you see quite a few hands, kind of hesitantly some of them, raise up.
Yes, you and the plaid.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Might I ask, you're aware of things that happen during forest fires, yes? Natural
Oh, yeah.
occurring ones, at least?
Oh yeah, everything burns, the wind blows it, the trees sometimes explode.
And what about after that? Let's say, maybe a year after a fire?
Well, I don't know, it's ashy and maybe stuff starts to grow again.
Yes, it does. Now here's the other thing. I'm pleasantly surprised by the amount of hands raised. And why would so many people in this town know about trees and stuff like that? Is it because there was a bit of an industry based around the forest before the blight was an issue?
Well, yeah. I mean, your
And
dad was a woodcutter and his dad before him.
and so this age-long family tradition and well, honestly, quite useful and profitable use of the woods, although some may disagree with it, would be a bit of a shame to throw all up in flames, yes?
You see nods, mostly from that quarter of the room, those hands that were raised. A few others nod along, some more hesitantly than others.
And the others who might not be part of such a business, I imagine you like having houses over your head and the lumber to build them, yes?
More hesitant nods.
And like having the wood to burn in your furnaces at home to keep you warmer than during the cold seasons?
More nods, and Bolton interrupts then. As you said, it would grow back. this time without the blight. We would cleanse the forest of whatever
What
is
basis
tainted
do you
it.
have that for, might I ask?
The blight are living creatures.
And so
They
are the
aren't-
trees.
They aren't like trees. Whatever they come from is twisted and wrong.
But they're certainly shaped like them, and they certainly grow like them. They're certainly sharp like the thorns on a bush. They're certainly entwining like the roots of a tree. What makes you think they're not capable of the same bounce back that a forest could be? If they are so touched and empowered by dark energies, like you suggest, then maybe they're even more durable than a forest. And what you have then, you have blight and, well, a horribly crippled forest. And even if you do find another solution to it, then that's quite a bit of, business and potential out the window and up in dust, is it not?
And what other suggestion is there? What other reasonable suggestion is there? Not you herring off into the woods to throw your lives away pointlessly.
Well, I guess I'd like to, put that in a better perspective, perhaps. Because you say no one returns from there, yes? There's...
Not for years.
Yes, and could I also say... Would you also say it's similar that, no one in this village knows magic? No one in this village owns a sword they know how to use?
You see a few people cast odd little glances over towards Alaris.
You have one, is that right?
However, he came by those powers, yes.
Alright. So...
Yeah, Alaris gives a small chuckle, just in a way. It's like, oh yeah, of course you hate me because of my powers, you
Yes.
fuck.
Anyways,
Sort of.
so we're, in essence, now dealing with 4 times the amount of magic and proficiency with blades and weapons that we usually do, yes?
Yes, which is exactly why I offered you the position of our protectors.
You see,
But
the
what
one
does that
issue
do?
is we do not plan on staying here that long. We have other obligations, other places
Better
with
time sensitive.
issues, much similar to yours. You're not the only village in the world.
And do you think you can protect every village in the world?
No, but there is a larger threat looming that, well, quite frankly, the Blight pale in comparison to.
Ah, so you would tackle this larger threat and leave all of these people, he spreads his arm to the room, to die.
You misunderstand. We intend to, yes, tackle the
Your
threat,
whispers start up.
but we do
around
not
you again.
intend to leave these people alone. Going out into the forest and dealing with whatever's causing your blight issue is part of our quest. We have reason to believe that dealing with it would deal with a much larger branch. So yes, we're taking your issue out at its roots, but we're also making our way down the branches for our own issue. It's a 2-for-1 deal. And there's going to be a lot of ideas and concepts that, quite frankly, it's not much use explaining because, well, magic and stuff like that. The simple fact is, you are making a much larger investment in trusting in us to go down there and deal with the issue than you are simply burning the forest and letting it be and having us or any other competent fighters you might come across sit here and defend you.
You say that it's a greater investment. I see a greater risk and loss. Letting you walk into the woods and probably die, as
Then
everybody
might I
else has.
offer a compromise?
Also,
You won't be able to burn the forest down till the summer, correct?
That is correct.
Well then, what harm is letting us do what we're gonna do?
Because we might.
And then-
Because
Yeah.
his concern is we're going to die before we can come back and protect them until the summer.
Well, then you're no worse off than you were before.
No, we're much worse off.
Before we came, I mean.
Brother, they see us as an
And if the
opportunity they're
situation-
wanting to seize.
Yes, and it is one that we're not willing to be seized by. If I'm understanding correctly, at least. So how about I offer this? We take a month while we're here to potentially rid the forest of this blight. If by the end of the month we are unable to, or unwilling to, then perhaps it's best that until the summer, the majority of the village takes a leave to Soren, or a place safe, until the forest can be burnt down, and you can return home and rebuild. That way there's a chance that, just like before, everyone can be kept safe by us until then. And if we're incapable, well then you better get to Soren anyways, because we can't protect you.
He speaks sense. This Wilhelmina Meadowcrag stands up, a stately woman, middle-aged, looks severe, a lined face. I've been saying it for years. We should just move. Soren is safe and it has walls. You hear across the room, that's all well and good for you. You can pay to stay in Soren. The rest of us, these are our homes, our livelihoods. We can't just leave. We have nothing outside of here. Another one. No, she's right. We have nothing if we stay. We don't even have our lives. At least if we go to Soren, yeah, we don't have anything there, but we'll be alive for it. That counts for something. Another one. Yeah, well, you work with your hands. You can make a living anywhere. My living is the ground. My living is this ground. And it starts devolving once again.
I'm gonna turn to Alaris and be like, either way, we're here for a month. You willing to try with me?
Yeah. Try what? Going into the forest?
Might as well.
I mean, yeah. I've wanted to take a proactive stance on this matter for a while now. It's just, Bolton always shuts it down because he doesn't want to lose his one defender of the town.
Alsama
Right.
kind of floats down. It's like, if you're the only one taking the choice to do that, what stopped you from just going anyways before if you believe so righteously in it?
Alaris looks to Aurora and Gage.
Ah, so you didn't
I don't
have
know
full
what I'd do
confidence
with
in yourself.
I don't know what I'd do with myself if I didn't come back.
Well, I'm sorry to say you run that same risk going with us or not.
Aurora leans over to you and says, I know what I'd do if you didn't come back. I'd hunt you down and bring you back.
You drag my soul out of whatever crevice it's.
And don't you forget it. Don't make me do that, though.
I'll help you if you
Seems like
Did
It seems like a lot.
Did I ever tell you how much I love you?
You could stand to say something a little bit more often. She gives you a little nudge and a kiss on the cheek.
Has the shouting kind of gone down a bit by now?
A little bit. It seems to have separated into a kind of a mixed number of camps. There are those who agree that, yeah, maybe we should just leave. Maybe we should just hunker down somewhere safe. Others that are like, no, we need to stay right here. We have our defenders. We just need to convince them to stay with us, to protect us. Others that are kind of on this side of, look, we just hold out for a little while, like they said, just for a month, and then we can decide. Still more that are like, yeah, sure, let them go into the forest. It's their lives, and hey, maybe they'll actually succeed, as they say. It's basically bouncing back and forth all throughout the room. It's hard to keep track of who thinks what, because they are not really grouped in like-minded areas. They are scattered amongst themselves, and some of the arguments have boiled down to do individual discussions at individual tables.
Kane's gonna lean over to Alaris and go, I think if you want the squabbling to stop, it's up to you to make a choice.
All right.
Might I offer
All right.
She Elsa leans over. Might I offer just a extra warning slash vote of on our side?
What?
Well, there's another monster that's not the Blight. They should be aware of it, no?
All right, all right. I have
Okay.
something to announce.
Quiets
Alaris
down.
calls out.
Yep, it quiets down. Lyndall has grabbed the pot and has banged it again for you. And recognizing the signal, silence falls.
Whether you stand on whether we should burn the forest or not, there is another problem within the Sorenwood.
Elsa floats back up. As much as we hate to say it, it seems the number of Blight aren't just increasing, but the number of threats in general.
Right, you've got their attention.
You see, I happen to hear about and come across another creature. One that is hardier than Blight, one that honestly stands much more of a non-chance of your average villager with a slingshot taking it down. It's a terrible kind of thing from another plane of being, and it's invisible.
So how'd you see it?
I did not, but well, there are two main methods to it. One, it's not just it's invisible to everyone. It's invisible to everyone of 10 years of age and older.
You hear little scoffs from a couple of corners. Mostly people seem to be paying attention to you, but one or two are showing doubts, and you hear a murmur from across the room. That is called an invisible friend.
Yep.
Imaginary friend.
I point to. Oh yeah.
Also,
I personally point to Robert. You've seen it,
Robert
right?
is not there.
Oh, Robert's
no,
not there.
The kids are
Yeah, the two-
being babysat.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. I can see there's some dissenting going on. So, well, like I said, how many of you here know much about magic?
Nobody really raises their hand.
How many of you, if you had not come from this place, would have believed me if I told you that some of the trees could pull themselves up out of the ground and start attacking villages?
Actually, a few people raised their hand, and just old stories. I mean, trees can move, trees can think.
And
They
there's
can
not,
talk sometimes.
and you've not heard stories of dead spirits roaming the plains?
Dead spirits, yes. You didn't say that was a dead spirit.
It is and it isn't. It's the fate of any poor souls that find themselves in a place known as the Shadowfell. The soul leaves, but the body remains, and it leaves no trace of itself. Like I said,
So,
the issue I'm bringing here is one, you all need to be aware of it. Not to panic, but to be aware. Should you hear any talk of younger children talking of some pale, ghastly figure out in the distance, take them more seriously than you might first think. The second point here is that it's not just the Blight. There was an attack today that was much more frequent and much larger. And if things like that are joining the ranks, there's only so much even we can do. There needs to be action taken quickly. And you can't burn down the woods right now, this quickly, and you cannot move all of your own belongings and your own bodies to any safer place that quickly. The issue needs to be dealt with fast, severely, and with prejudice by us. That is why we intend to go into the woods. It is not just the Blight. It is the influence that brings about the Blight that is the issue plaguing your village. Whatever that influence is, seems to be bringing more with it than just walking trees.
I say they should go, says somebody in the corner. Yeah, but what about us? We're defenseless. Well, they're gone. What if more blight come? It'll take you forever to go through the forest and try to find whatever's causing this, won't it? Or does magic make that easier too?
She kind of floats up on the broom. Well, as you can see, and she like falls backwards and hangs from her knees. There are some perks to magic.
Roll a quick acrobatics check.
Alright. This went great last time.
Natural 1 lands directly on her head.
2.
Yeah, that's about
You
right.
fall backwards and there's a little bit of a whoop moment. You're kind of clinging with your knees in your hands, but you're not quite sure how you're going to get back up.
Alright. She'll try her best to keep it together and just... As you can see, magic has its perks. And even outside of magic, there are those of us with just much more experience traversing areas and fighting. We had a lot more we could throw at those blights that you didn't see today.
Well, still, what if they do come back and you're not here?
What if they came back and we were asleep? What if they came back and we were on the other side of town? There's a lot of what ifs. You can throw ideas about possibilities and potentials all day, but the fact is that action is required. And yes, it is a risk, but so is living here in general, and you people honestly have been doing far better than I think many could do. You've held together with a great sense of community and strength and all that flowery stuff. And I suppose it's just the matter of understanding that it's not us abandoning you. It's us dealing with the problem. And any risks that come about it would have been risks you would have been facing anyways. Maybe a month from now, maybe a week from now. There's going to be things that we can't just simply appear and deal with. We have means of seeing an invisible creature, but we can't do it freely. We can't cover all ground.
And you mentioned previously the other villages. We're not there to protect them. If we just protect you guys, we leave them with no effort, with nothing to assist in them except for Soren. Maybe you guys will be alright, sure. But by sitting here and doing nothing, we abandon them.
We're understanding of your concern for yourself and your own personal safety and that of your families. But risks exist. Death happens. Be it blight, be it disease. There's going to be plenty of things that we could be here for that we're not going to be. There could be plenty of things that other people could be here for that they aren't right now. You're going to have to trust in our abilities and our understanding of our own abilities that this is the best shot we've got, going into the woods and finding out what the issue is. And it's not just us going and succeeding. In the chance that we go in there and wean out some of the numbers, even for a few more months, to give you all that time to make it to the summer and go through whichever plan you'd agree upon.
You hear a voice. I trust them. You look over and see the teenage boy of the Metacrags stand up. You hear his mother clutches briefly at his arm. You hear, "It's Henry." He says, No, they say they can do this. We saw some of what they could do before. And we can defend ourselves. We've got slings, we've got torches, we've got whatever weapons we have at hand. We have the trench. Last time, sure, it wasn't full. It's winter, it's difficult, but we've held out this long. Yeah, we had Mr. Tundrafist, but it wasn't just him all this time. We can do this.
Boy speaks true. I believe each of you should give yourselves some credit as well.
You see his mother, Henry, my father fought them. And yeah, he didn't make it, I know. But he still tried. He still did something. I'm not just gonna sit here and hide underneath their cloaks.
I appreciate it. There's not much room in mine. But honestly, he also brings a good point. What if those who have tried and failed before? What of their memories and their intent? They're not here to take a vote on the situation. But they clearly sought action.
You see Wilhelmina stand and lean forward again, and Varian died in the first Blight attack on the village. He didn't seek action, he just sought to protect us. And he did. It's true, he has no vote now. We can't even say for certain what his vote would have been after all these years. But my nephew he has shown faith in you, despite having lost a father to these. Very well. You have my support. I move that we hold this motion at least until the month.
And we thank you for that trust.
Unless something vitally important comes up beforehand, we meet again on the 3rd day of rainfall. And then we will decide. She looks over at Bolton. After a pause, he nods, and Liren just goes clang clang. All in favor, say aye. And there's this murmur of ayes that sweep across the room, growing steadily louder as the first ones to call out maybe weren't so sure of support, but as it compounds, people are more and more comfortable, perhaps, with the idea of calling out in favor of this. Is there anything else on the agenda, then? Bolton shakes his head. No. This meeting is adjourned. Until rainfall. He turns, and he and his wife sweep out of the room. Gradually, the environment kind of relaxes a bit as the tension seeps away, and various people trickle out. Some stay and maybe order another drink or catch up with some friends and neighbors.
Real quick, the aunt and nephew.
Yes.
Were they farmers? Were they part of the ones that were saying, "Yeah, I use this land," or?
They did not seem to do a lot of the nodding or the unconscious gestures in that way.
Okay.
You can go ahead and do an insight check just to see if you picked up on anything.
Well, I was gonna say, could also like do one for like kind of remembering and knowing who was kind of more on that side.
Go ahead, though. Note that you won't actually know a lot of names.
Oh yeah, not names, just she can find the face. of the one that in the middle of the
Possibly.
chaos that went, no, I'm a farmer, I do this.
Yeah, possibly. Go ahead.
Insight or perception?
Insight, for the
12.
sake of memory. Alright. Yeah, if you ran across them again, you might be able to recognize, but there were a lot of faces in this room, all shouting at various points. But yes, if there was one in particular, one phrase in particular, you might be able to pick him out if you see him around town.
Okay. And Althana will kind of float back down to the group and she's like, Alaris, if you could, I'm kind of stuck like this.
Oh, okay, yeah, and
Yeah, she's floating down, still upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Kane's gonna look for if you can see like a relatively well-built looking person. Some kind of lumberjack basically is looking for, but in general just someone built.
Okay. Go ahead and do a perception just to see what you pick up on. Okay, there's not really a lot of scrawny people in the town to begin with. Some here and there, but for the most part, this seems to be a town of very hardworking, outdoor type people. You've got a lot to choose from. You're not really picking out like, oh, he is the strongest.
Yeah, he's not looking for that. He's just looking for anyone. He'll just grab the nearest one.
Yeah, you got a village full, pretty much.
He'll grab the nearest one and be like,
Find the one in the plaid.
basically. Anyone in
The one
town
in the
know how to make
plaid.
wagon wheels?
Wagon wheels.
Yeah, like with planks rather than spokes.
Planks. That's a weird request. Okay.
Or just anyone
Well-
who's able to work vaguely with worked wood.
Oh, a lot of us can work with worked wood. I mean, it's we built, I should say, like our parents and grandparents and their parents built the woods, but built our houses, but we keep up on the upkeep, and furniture sometimes wears out or breaks, has to be replaced or repaired. I mean, half the town can do something with wood. Wagon wheels?
Just vaguely that shape or size. Keep them all
Well,
together.
you could try the Brett Barths. I mean, Joel made a wheelbarrow recently. It's kind of the same thing, right?
It'll be close enough for what I'm asking. Thank you. I assume this Brett Barth, relatively trusted man in the town. No one like not seen as an outcast or anything, right?
He's decent. He lives up on the north side, right across from the mill. Kind of keeps an eye on the property for the Boltons. And for the
Perfect.
rest of us. It's kind of
Okay.
why he built the wheelbarrow, makes it easier to transport sacks to and from.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks, sir. Sorry to bother you.
Yeah.
Turn to face on and say, Al, be honest with me. I'm not going to be much use out in those woods, other than just another pair of eyes, am I?
Is she kind of like raising an eyebrow? Not particularly one way or the other, but you are a sword to swing at something that's trying to hit us.
Alright, you think you'd be able to spare my assistance for a day?
The eyes kind of like go halfway. Just tell me what you're intending to do.
I want to show these folks the potentially very basic strategy that might help them fight back better. Teach them how to make a basic shield, and how to kite the bigger ones that the shield won't help against.
And she and you want me to do...
Nothing, just I assume that whatever search effort, I assume you're going to be leading it. I've got no expertise in it. Can it spare me for a day?
Oh, what, you intend to stay back while we go into the woods?
If you think we can afford it.
I don't. And she kind of like looks
Alright.
to the rest of the group. Is anyone else?
Wouldn't really be a safe idea if it's only 3 of us, especially when
Yeah,
one of our heavy hitters is gone.
Yes,
we need something to at least bolster. Yeah,
put it bluntly, brother, you take the hits so I don't have to, because I can't take as many as you.
No, I can't take too many hits either. I'm not terribly healthy.
Can you spare me
I'm
20
not
minutes for a
anemic,
conversation?
but I'm not terribly hardy either.
Can you what?
Can you spare me 20 minutes for a conversation then? Get someone else to lead it instead?
If we're not immediately going right away, so
In that case, I'll see you soon. And you'll start heading towards the name you mentioned before.
You're trying to find Joel Britbarth?
Or just someone in the household, yeah.
Alright. How do you go about trying to find him?
He was told the general direction of the house, right? And I assume everyone's kind
He
of like
was.
filtering away to their homes.
Yeah, most people are. A few people have lingered in the inn, but for the most part it's emptied as people are going about the beginning of their day.
Okay, he'll head out and just ask for quick directions from first person and make his way there.
Alright. It was told to you north end of town, so you head up there. It's pretty much straight out the door, and there's a wide road area that heads northward. And at the end of it, you do see this tall, cylindrical building, stairs leading up to its doorway. And across from that, a smaller home with a bit of a garden plot, looks like, behind it, though it's hard to tell given all the snow, and a little walled in area next to it. So
Go
that is
ahead,
what you might guess it would be.
He'll go ahead and knock on the front door.
And the door opens, and you see another solidly built man, human, kind of dusting his hands off. Seems to have a little bit of just a little bit of wood chips on them. Yeah, I help you.
Yeah. Sorry, I might be imposing, but I just had an idea that might help people here fight back in case of blights again. And I was told you're pretty handy with a hammer, so I figured it'd be best to talk to you.
Handy with more than a hammer, my friend. Come on in. He
Thank you.
holds the door open, and you walk in, and it seems like this entire hut isn't so much a living area. There's like a cot in the corner and a wash basin next to it, and there's a chimney hearth with a little pot and on the up on the mantle. There's like bowl and spoon and cup, but most of this house is dedicated to planks and logs and sticks and odds and ends of wood, and there's buckets of nails, various tools, some hanging on the wall, some are on these trestle tables laid out, saws, hammers, pliers of some sort, wrenches, just basically any sort of sandpaper file or plane that you might find in the workshop of somebody who works with a lot of wood.
And you kind of just looks like you definitely know what you're doing. Again, apologize I'm intruding, but just an idea I think you'd be able to help me out with that I think would help keep people safe.
No, go ahead. Just making a new door for the Morrisons. Theirs warped the other day, so it's finally gotten time to replace it. Or at least they noticed the warp. Probably it's been going on for a while. Way of wood is slow.
Isn't how it always is. It's actually part of what I'm speaking to you about. So if I understand correctly, the blights usually come into 3 varieties, right? Small, slow, and able to throw.
As far as we can tell.
Would
If
you be
there's
willing
another
to...
one, we haven't seen it yet.
In that case, would you be able to possibly lead the effort in making some rudimentary shields? Just something to keep people safe from the thrown objects while you sling your slings. Because those will keep you safe from the small ones, and the ones that throw. The heavy ones that the shields won't stop. You guys can move faster than they can.
we've tried with the shields before, but they're awkward, heavy. Nobody really knows how to use them, and they get in the way of things like reloading slings. So it's a thought, but it's kind of been tried. Didn't go well.
Do you have any of these old shields lying around I can take a look at?
No, took them apart for scrap years ago.
Ah, gotcha. Alright, well, at least
Well,
if you don't
actually,
mind spreading.
Actually, I think I did save one. Hold on. And he goes over and you hear, he kind of goes out the back, and then you hear thump, thump, thud. Little squeak, squeak, squeak. He pulls in a big wooden wheelbarrow, and he points at the wheel. Bored a hole through the center. It works.
Ah, knew I had the right idea. And about, like, how wide across is this wheel? Does it seem to have been, like, shortened to make it better for the wheel?
Yeah, I had to plane it down a little bit. But had the base shape, so.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, this was actually one of the smaller ones I made to start with. Not everybody is, and he gestures at himself in the sheer breadth of him. Yeah,
You'd be surprised.
some can't carry so much.
You'd be surprised. Small shield's almost as good as a large one most of the time. Most people, if
Really?
they move the shield around. Yeah. If you're gonna see someone coming towards, your hands can move towards it anyways. You got a much wider hand in the form of a shield. Don't need to be so big.
Maybe that's where I went wrong.
Could be. I'm not gonna tell you how to take care of your village. You guys managing for years now, but
Yeah, still
wanna
can't
introduce the thought
say
to people?
still can't say anybody'd know to move it that quick, but could try.
And he's gonna go. Do you mind if I do a quick experiment?
What kind of experiment?
Uh,
It's not going to be any of that weird, flashy
Nah, I don't.
stuff.
Magic's not my thing now. Do you have a switch, a stick in your memory here?
Lots of sticks. Try the kindling. He
He'll
points
just
over
pick up like
next
a
to her.
2-foot long stick or something.
Mhm.
He goes, I'm gonna swing this at your head. Okay, just put your hand in the way to block. I'm not gonna actually hit you.
He already has his hand up and this weird look on his face, like, what?
He goes, cool, and he swings the stick towards to like basically hit him in the forearm.
All right.
Not to actually like hurt him, just like to tap
Yeah.
basically.
Well, he probably catches it.
Yeah.
Treating that
This-
as a dex save.
Yeah, and he goes, now if that was a spike, that would hurt, right?
If that was a spike, I don't think it'd be swinging. But yeah.
Oh, imagine if you had an inch of wood stick between you and the spike. Even if you missed with your arm, shield wouldn't be able to catch it. Not saying it's a perfect measure, but it doesn't need to be that big to protect your body. Just need to protect the head and the chest.
Well, we can give him another try, and maybe I'll just make him smaller this time.
Yeah, please do. And of course, this only works for the small ones and the throwers. The large ones, leave them for last. They can't move fast enough to get to you guys anyway, as long as you move smart. Actually, probably some of the faster kids might be able to keep them running around. Well, the other ones get taken out.
Oh, we're doing this
Yeah,
again, are we?
We try to keep the kids out of this.
No, I mean like 15, 16-year-olds. Old enough to take care of themselves. They're gonna have to fight anyways.
They're the
Even
ones
still.
that usually do the watchtower shifts. They
enough.
also stay out of it.
Fair enough. In that case, anyone with legs long enough to run fast might be better.
Well, we could maybe ask the Garrows. That I don't think that they'd like running or being the distraction.
I don't
They're
blame you.
fast little buggers.
I'm not gonna take up too much of your time or anyone else's, but I trust you enough that if you think there's any worth of this idea, you'd be the one making the shield. You can spread the idea around, or at least ask someone else to do it for you. Unfortunately, I'm being called to duty to go search in the forest.
Well, sure. Maybe worth another try if needs be. We'll keep it in mind.
All you guys gotta do is delay for another month. Wish you guys luck.
Yeah. Thanks. You too. Try not to die out there.
That's the goal, but taking care of you guys takes a priority above all.
He hesitates for a moment, but then the big meaty hand comes out and slaps you twice on the back. Retreats.
Kind of nod and says, appreciated. If I get any
Sure.
fancy little bundles of wood from these little shits, make sure I bring it your way to experiment with.
Huh. You're a better sort than I thought. Thanks.
Happy to help.
He
Head
sees
his
you
way
out
back
the
to
door.
Alsana and then
Goes back to planing that big plank of wood that's going to be a door someday.
and you'll head back to the group and see how things are progressing if they're ready to go.
Yeah, during that rough, I'd say half hour period, maybe a little bit longer for walking back and forth through the bit of snow. Is there anything the rest of you would like to get up to?
Also, I might just ask Alaris real quick if he knows.
Yep.
Do you know much of the Sun Meadow people family?
What does Lars know about the sun?
The Sun Meadows? They are
Yeah.
a halfling family. You know, of course, that Shayna, their oldest daughter, is apprenticed to Seraphina Greenbottle.
Mhm.
You know that she's actually best friends with Daryl Carver, who was on watch that night. And you know about where they live, which is right about that house right there, just down from yours, and around the corner. So yeah, basically it's, out the inn, down this street, and then down a bit, and it's the second house on the left-hand side.
Does Alaris relay this?
It's up to Alaris.
Hmm.
I'm just telling him what he knows.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll divulge this information.
Oh, best friends, you say?
Mhm.
Interesting. Oh, they just pieces fall together. Huh. Well, do you have any other preparations you'd like to do before we make the trek?
Well, not quite. Not really.
Calder, how about you?
Just gonna get the swords ready. Just gonna get the swords ready, I guess. I'm able to heal, but let's also be able to hit some stuff.
Oh, you can heal.
Yeah, I know magic.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see much of it in the initial fray we had.
I was focusing a bit more on just getting someone down. I guess didn't want to use the spells for something that wouldn't kill me.
No,
The
it's
blight
just...
fight I was using.
It's...
Blight fight I casted I think a spell on Alaris. I remember that.
Yeah, just something good to know, is all.
I'll be sure to help you out. Don't worry, dear.
Does that mean you have a god?
More of
Because you don't
an
strike me as the druid type.
more of an oath.
Oh. Are you willing to share, or is this the usual song and dance?
Well, you're asking nicely, so I'll explain a bit more. And Calder will just hold up the necklace with the ring on it. Not really anything, but a wedding ring. Good reminder to protect my family, and I think it's a little strong of a power in me right now.
Oh, so we have two betrothed in the group then.
Betrothed, I'm married.
Same difference.
After 20 years, I think you just say they're yours. Or we're the same person at this point.
You're the same person at this point.
We know each other too well. It's been 20 years, dear.
And you... only 20 years.
For halflings, it's a lot.
She kind of like slowly nods, like, only 20 years, huh?
For humans, that's a lot.
Yeah.
No, just thinking on things.
Why is 20 years not long for, not long for you?
Mm, yes and no. I mean, I have my usual lifespan, which is more than your standard person without pointy ears.
What's happened with you in the last 20 years then?
Well, I'm still relatively early on my years, but just well, I have a long way to go, and if I'm right about certain things, and this whole adventure turns out a way I'd like it to, I might have a bit more than the standard expectance of me and my type of blood.
Yeah, with you nature types, the more powerful you get, I've heard you tend to get
Well,
tend to slow down in
you have the ancient kind of almighty ones that you hear stories about, but yeah, I just guess I'd like to see a happy balance.
That's good. Balance is always good.
Just 20 years. I have a few of those to go, and if I can find out all I could possibly about a person, then well, that's something to consider.
One day you'll find your I guess one day you'll find your 20 years if you want it.
Oh, is it faster when you're married? I don't think you made that
It's
distinction.
fast. It's faster after you get married, and a lot of factors that you put in after you get married, I suppose.
Is it so you've been married 20 years?
Yes.
Are you is Alaris also not the one with a kid to his name, or are you incapable?
I think I'm pretty capable. The three of them turned out fine.
Ah,
There you go. See what you get from asking nicely there?
yes, it pains me terribly so, but
Your brother's known it for days.
she face kind of drops. I'm sorry, what?
Well, yeah, he was nice.
She she makes like a gagging motion with the tongue out.
You get nice things when you're nice. The only reason I know that's from raising three little rascals.
Wouldn't that have been your own rules you set in place yourself?
I suppose.
I mean, they
But
can't really get much of anything else without you, including, well, existence.
you're right, but they've made good people of themselves. Two of them are doing really well.
If only children could get the existence pot without the parents necessary.
I'm lucky they have a. I'm lucky they think I'm a good parent. I get worried sometimes.
Hmm.
You and Kane, you're half siblings, but you not that good parent. Sorry if I'm intruding, but
Well, you see, on the one hand, I don't follow the same rule of asking nicely. But on the other, I'll say as far as it's good that you cherish the idea of your children thinking you're a good parent.
yeah, I've met some asshole parents in my time.
Hmm.
Sorry you had to go through that. I've seen what happens to some of those kids.
Yeah, just crunches up her face. That's enough. Ah, jeez.
Alright.
I don't like this. New people are catching me going off on myself and monologue. Ugh.
Take a breath, it's alright.
Do we have anything else we need to do?
Not that I know of, just wait for your
Oh, no, I had an idea actually. Your lantern is one that can help us with our, invisible friend, yes?
With finding the boogeyman, yes.
Would you just take standard oil?
Yeah, I have a couple of pints on me.
Would you like to make a bit of a walk around the town?
Are you sure we should do this without Kane?
She looks like, we're not charging headfirst into it, we're walking around the town itself.
Yeah, but the way it goes around, if we see it, means we're already in around 30 feet, around 60 feet of it.
Yes, well,
And if we
I'd
see
much
it
rather deal with it now before we leave.
I know, but we don't have one of our heavy hitters. Are you sure you want to risk that?
From my understanding, most of their bravado and ability to do what they do comes with the fact that no one can see them. I imagine if we've got a nice little point of reference, then they become, a bit more easier to deal with.
I'll try it out, but you owe me some oil. Calder will take out one of her just flasks of oil and start filling up the lantern, I guess.
You're the one who agreed to it, I don't owe you nothing.
Yeah, alright.
I'll patch up your wounds when
Leave
you
it
run
safe.
out of it yourself.
Appreciated. I'll be there if you ever need to monologue again.
Ugh. No, I've got that. I've got this for that, and she kind of like jangles the amulet on her wrist.
Is it the god amulet? This is Ty asking.
No, it's the amulet she got from Tokeni,
Oh,
the messenger amulet.
that girl's
okay.
gonna
Although honestly, it's probably on the same wrist.
Mhm.
So if
Okay.
Calda's one to take notice of it, maybe she'd see some evil gods on there.
Calder will just take notice of both. Just know that Calder may not know that there's gods on there.
Yeah, Calda can do a quick religion check. Yeah. There's a little
There's charms
tokens
all
with...
over the girl.
Yeah, there's charms all over that bracelet. She's got a charm bracelet on,
She's got her hair.
you know.
Yeah, she talks to the beads.
Yep, she talks to the beads.
And other things.
Yeah. Alright, let's
Alright.
start a good look around.
Okay. You head out, you light up the lantern.
Also, I might also grab her lantern vine.
Okay. You got your lamp fine.
Yeah, lamp vine. Damn it. Is it still like looking good?
Yeah, it's still looking good.
All right.
It's starting to fade a little bit in color,
Mm-hmm.
but it's holding on for now.
It's holding the light.
Yeah.
All right. And she'll just kind of tie that to the top of her broom again and just kind of walk around with it.
All right. It is a little bit hard to see the light from these things, as it's a fairly bright morning and the snow is reflecting the sun. The sky is currently clear, though there are clouds on some of the horizons and in the distance. You kind of walk a circle of the town, go down one branched road, go down another, down the third, back again. Maybe spend a good hour doing a circuit of the roads and hugging the houses, looking every which way.
Might catch Kane along the way, honestly.
Yeah, possibly, but in that hour you don't really notice anything.
Again. And you see her like kind of like pull a piece of hair off of her forehead with a bead on it. And it's like, I'm looking at you. And she just flicks it back.
It probably sticks closer to the forest, wouldn't you think? More cover. If little
Cover
kid can't
for
see
what?
it. Little kid can't see it, or if someone decides to pass through town and see.
Well, clearly
weird
some of them
then.
have already seen it, so I'm guessing
But
it's
on-
not an issue for them.
Not a violent issue. Not
In
an
fact,
issue yet.
I guarantee you a creature like that banks off the fact that parents think kids make things up.
A lot of what kids make up is based on truth.
Or a want to be noticed.
That's also true. But that's the parents' fault at that point.
Whether they're there or not, I guess. She keeps walking.
Called will try and keep up with her stubby legs.
Is her speed 25?
It is.
Alsana's on the broom sometimes with a 50 speed. Literally twice what she's doing.
Yeah, you could just choose to drift on that broom if you'd like.
Yeah, no, just sometimes just like doing the circles around her as they're walking.
Yep.
Heavy armor plus 25 feet of movement means very, very winded Calda.
It's like a fridge with stubby legs.
Yep. And you're wading through an inch or two of snow. You're able to find like boot prints. It's not deep, and honestly, the roads are pretty packed down by now. So it's just that fluffy covering. You're not going through drifts.
It just makes the floating that much more of a screw you.
Yeah, just a little bit. Okay, long before you guys come back, Kane, you've returned to the inn. Perhaps Alaris told you that they headed out with the lantern to take a walk. Perhaps. But otherwise, got about half an hour to kill before they come back.
In that case, Kane's going to discuss that same shield idea with Alaris and break it down and just ask him how well that worked last time with the shields, like what the issue was.
Yeah, so John knows. It was basically a lack of proficiency.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you're not proficient with a shield, you don't get the AC bonus, I think. I'd have to double check.
Don't believe that's what it is, but I'll check just in case.
I know that you can't cast spells, and you've got other limitations, I think.
Yeah, I believe it's something
maybe
like your attack rolls at disadvantage or something like that.
It might be that.
Hold on. Looking at it right.
Yeah.
Nope, that's shield spell.
I'm trying to find shield proficiency, but I know I've read this before. I just don't remember exactly where.
Oh, just test my audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay, yeah. So using any kind of armor, including shields, if you don't have proficiency, you have disadvantage on any ability check, saving throw, or attack roll using strength or dexterity.
Okay.
And spellcasters can't cast spells.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, it was really basically the quote-unquote lack of proficiency. They had no idea what they were doing with the shield strapped to their arms. Some of them were kind of weighed down by it. He might have made them over large, thinking bigger area, more protection.
Yeah, which...
It was basically abandoned as they're slowing us down, they're making this more difficult, they are distracting us in the middle of battle where
Slingshots and torches work better because we're farmers.
Yeah. I guess I was thinking not meta enough for that.
Yeah. It was also the meta thing of, training with a shield presumably includes the reaction time and the instinct to move that shield into position before a blow.
No, sorry, I wasn't thinking like in-game mechanics enough, because this was the first thing I teach you, like in martial arts thing. It's like, yeah, if you have something on your arm, use it, because if your hand's gonna go up there anyways, even if you're not gonna catch it, it's gonna put it in the way. Might as well have something small on there to give you greater surface area.
Yeah, and that's fair, but again, these are not martial artists trained.
Yeah, it's still a bunch of hicks.
This is like
do at least one session of training for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I feel like they can get done, but yeah, I'm not thinking game-wise enough for that. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right then, but they are going to entertain the idea with slightly smaller shields this time, potentially. So,
Okay.
maybe they'll do better with it, maybe not.
And if not, they at least have the advice with kiting the big ones because
we need to, like, 10 sessions from now, find this, like, old, grumpy, retired, like, town guard, and send him here to whip some young blood into shape. Because, my goodness.
I was hoping there'd be something like that, but oh well.
Guys, if 10 sessions from now you're still dealing with Soren Wood, I've done something very wrong.
No, I mean, we're going
I'm
to be,
trying
like,
to
go
get
to
through this
Sorenwood.
quickly. I'm trying to get this through fairly quickly as a
Yeah.
campaign.
No, I understand that. I'm saying we're gonna be, like, over in the, like, like, the green forest. What's it? Green...
Greenwater
Be
Wood.
somewhere else.
Yeah, we're gonna be, like, in the Greenwater Woods, and we're gonna find some, like, old, grizzled, gray dwarf and be like, hey, go to Sorenwood, they need someone like you.
It's like also, you can make a ton of money just training a bunch of random people. Go.
Yeah, they're throwing rocks.
They're throwing rocks.
There are cavemen more proficient with weapons than them.
My dog
To be-
defends things more eloquently than these fucking peasants.
To be fair, none of the Blights got close enough for you to see them do anything but throw rocks.
Mm-hmm.
They
So
had
we
torches,
just...
they had pitchforks, they had
They
clubs.
just
They
throw
had daggers.
rocks.
Yep, okay, so what else would you like to do? It is perhaps mid-morning by now, perhaps. Getting close to it.
I assume the others have come back.
Let's assume that they have all come back. Let's assume we've all reconvened.
Alright, so that was another unsuccessful search. I get the feeling we're gonna have to tread into it knee deep to get any results.
Strange question. Asana, said these creatures are from the Shadowfell or something like that, right?
Yes, that is the name of the plane.
Is the idea of shadow as relevant as the name would imply?
The place is generally full of dark and death and depression and undead and terrible things.
Is it possible they only come out closer to nighttime? Like, I know they're invisible, they don't need the cover of night, but maybe they're just more active then?
I don't know, but I also don't care to fully find out. We need to go relatively soon. The more days we
Oh, I
wait,
just
the
mean-
more chance there's going to be something that does take action.
Oh, of
And-
course. Just a
Yep.
question.
And then we end up with a bisected villager in the middle of town and us not having left yet, after that whole ordeal this morning.
By all means.
Well, if anyone's got anything else to do, do it now. Say goodbye to your wife and children, in case you don't come back. Looking at Alara specifically.
Yeah.
I meant what I said. You do run the risk of death,
Mm-hmm.
as long as you're aware.
Yeah.
Magic crossbow and extra friends or not. And I don't know about Galda, but I don't know any way of bringing one's soul back to their body once it's left. Yet, at least.
If you don't know it, then I don't know it. It'd be a pretty expensive endeavor.
Well, I'll be waiting at the entrance to the forest. I'll take a quick scout around, plus I need to grab a new lamp vine, so... Until then, everyone can meet me there in, let's say, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stop patrolling the edge now. I got nothing else to do.
Up to
I'll
you.
go with you with the lantern. Don't want to waste the oil.
I'll just watch more out for lights and anything else.
Alright, then we'll meet on the east end of town by the little area they've dug out.
Works for me.
Was that the direction, Gage and his friend were pointing that that their monster in the closet was.
Edge of the forest,
Yep. So yeah, just east ways generally.
generally.
All right. Yep. Then Alsana will, if she can, stop by that graveyard once more.
Okay.
Bloom another lamp vine.
All right.
And kind of set the other one. Just kind of. Yeah, she'll just kind of like place it on the ground beside it.
Okay.
Just let
It
it
lies there
Yep.
in the snow, softly glowing.
let it decompose.
Okay.
And
We've
then
got a
tie it.
new lamp vine bloom.
And she'll just kind of tie it to the edge of her broom again.
Okay.
And then kind of float float over the town to the side of the forest and wait for everyone.
Okay.
But also, while they're there, quick check of the weather, Druidcraft.
Okay. For tomorrow?
Yep.
Or the next 24 hours,
Next
rather?
24 hours, yes.
Yeah. All right. Next 24 hours. The first chunk of it is kind of the sunshine with a little bit of cloud, but then you see a return of the heavier cloud and snow, and a fair amount of it.
Great.
And then it clears up again into light clouds.
Oh, so like within the 24 hours?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It's
Probably towards the end of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got a little looping GIF that's sped up, basically,
Yes.
of weather prediction in simple pictographs.
He got the weather channel going at like 300% speed.
More or less.
The dude drawing on the wall is doing the fucking Macarena, basically.
Okay. Alright, you go ahead and you do a sweep, up and down. Yeah, the edge of the forest, now that it's no longer snowing, it's a brighter day, you actually this time do hear and see some very small birds that had perhaps moved back into the area, expecting spring to be here. Probably a little displeased with the late snowfall.
If she hasn't done it yet, Alsana will send that letter.
Alright. You catch yourself a little bird and send it flapping off towards the Isle of Threshold.
Kane's gonna try pulling out another mirror.
Okay, go ahead and give me your d20 on your bag. You get a decent.
Average.
Yeah, average. Kind of the same as the last one. You've got 2 mundane mirrors.
Yep, he'll hand it to Alaris when he sees it, be like, yeah, just in case something goes wrong with the lantern.
Okay. Alaris, anything you want to do while you're in town? Before you leave?
The usual.
Mhm.
Talk to the Wiccan kid that I'm about to set off to do the thing soon.
Evil forest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gage is getting big, but he still gives you a quick hug. Pulls away. Aurora gives you a much longer one. And before you part,
Yeah.
she whispers, "Stay safe, okay?" I meant what
Okay.
I'd said, but I also meant it when I asked you not to make me do that.
Yeah.
And we still need you. Make sure you come
course.
back.
I'll do my
We'll be-
best.
We'll be waiting.
Okay. Good.
And she gives you a kiss and sends you on your way.
Yep.
You kind of see them at the edge of town if you look back, and Gage waves. Aurora is kind of got her arms folded around herself, and she's watching.
Yep. And,
Gather at
yeah,
the-
I had.
Alright, you head towards them, gather up at the edge of the woods.
As they're kind of waiting there, I'll just look over to Khalid. It's like, so, mother of 3, Where's your family reside?
That's true.
Should we
That's a
expect
direct steer.
Should we expect a similar kind of family visit that we've gotten from this place?
Oh, no, they're not in any... They're not in proximity to anywhere we need to go. They know I'm gone. They know this happens. I was more encouraged to do this by them than anything. They're supporting whatever this is.
They want you to get out of the house more, or...
That's one way. That's one reason, yeah.
And for what it's worth, and she kind of like jangles the amulet again. I can send. I'm not the only one who can send letters, you know. If you have a small piece of paper tieable to a small bird, then I'm sure Threshold could forward it to wherever you'd like.
I know, I already asked them to send a letter to them. Don't want to bother them, is all, but it's good to keep in contact.
I guess as much asking for the paper and all.
And the ink, and
Really all the components to write a letter.
bit scatterbrained with remembering that stuff.
But if you'd like to send any more on the road, let me know, and if I haven't already used it that day, or if I...
As a note, it's not a once per day.
It's a once a
you
week.
charge it with two spell levels worth of magic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
in there. I'll say that
I
for the
thought it
purposes
was-
of this, it was already charged. However,
Okay.
it's currently depleted.
Yeah, she had some extras the night before.
Yeah. You would have to basically dump either 2 first level spell slots or 1 second level spell slot from your own magic in order
Okay.
to make the spell work. But you can use it however many times per day is your spell slot support,
Okay,
as you please.
Because I remember it said once a day at some point. It was said, but
If,
yeah,
if
okay,
I
good to know.
said that, then it was a mix-up, because I do have it written on the messenger amulet, and I could have sworn that I told you about the charging with spell slot levels.
Yeah, it might have been when we first got it or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, good to know. But yep, if I have some to edit, if I have some extra magic kicking around, or you'd like to donate some yourself, then you can charge it back up and send a letter.
I'll keep that in mind. Thanks, dear. It's appreciated.
And I promise I won't commit mail fraud.
I'll make sure to censor what needs to be censored just in case I don't believe you.
Oh, look.
Kane's just 1,000 yards staring into the woods.
Here comes the dad now.
Yeah.
And kind of tromp, tromp, tromp through the snow. You know how it goes when there's drifts and you kind of have to do big steps, and sometimes
Yep.
your foot holds on something, other times you just have this sudden lurch and poof, it goes deeper in.
As Olsana floats on the broom, it's like, don't you just hate when you get snow in your shoe? It just kind of melts and trickles down the side of your ankle.
Don't you hate when you get
Mhm.
snow in your pant leg?
That too. The sock really is the worst one.
Alright, you have reached the forest. You look. On the edge, it seems relatively normal, perhaps a little thick in undergrowth for the time of year. The previously mentioned birds here and there.
And
Not
there's
too much sign of life, given the winter, but
it was said before that they kind of actively chop it down, but
yeah.
it was also said
Yeah.
before that there's still some kind of like saplings near the edge.
Yeah, it's been kind of growing back. They haven't gotten out to do the chopping in a little bit, and so you do find these cut off, very narrow stumps here and there, but there's even skinnier, new growth, leafless, and yet shooting upwards through the snow anyway.
Alsana knows that's not normal, yes.
Oh, Alsana definitely knows that's not normal. Usually it's springtime and leaves first.
Yes. I'm guessing each of you know enough about trees to know they don't usually grow in the winter.
I mean, up here, yeah, I assume.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was it always like this, Solaris?
Was it?
No,
No.
How
this
recent?
came after the blight.
Recently after the blight.
Okay.
Hmm.
So it wasn't your magical unicorn protector previously causing the forest a healthy growth, it's them. Or whatever's causing them.
Yeah.
Well, good to know. Be careful of any roots and the like then. And also be aware of... Don't trust the shrubbery.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's implied, but I'd just like to make it clear.
Yeah. Of course.
And she hops on the broom. And if anyone sees this dim and I don't notice, let me know.
Alright.
Caldwell will
With
open
that?
the hood on the lantern again.
And then a very pale radius of light, hardly noticeable in the day. You head into the woods. At first, it's the cover from the branches is thin, but as you trudge and or float, it starts to
Yeah.
get a little dimmer. Fewer birds.
I
Deeper
just want to
silence.
confirm, I saw it before. It's not just me that sees it getting dark despite the time of day.
No, these woods are definitely foggy.
Thank you for the insight. She keeps going.
Right. You head in. Keep walking, floating. The ground is not perfectly clear. There are patches where there's a thick tangle of underbrush or very low growing branches, or smaller trees that branch outwards at a height that forces you to duck or dodge around it. Even you, Calda. It's slow going. It's a little bit awkward and uncomfortable. Sometimes a twig might catch on clothing or hair or scratch across skin slightly. It's just the sound of the crunching of snow. See your breath collecting in misty clouds in front of your faces from cold. Everybody, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Alright.
This is just
Oh
general as
boy.
you're walking along. This
Oh
is your
boy.
keeping an eye out. Alright.
Can't roll for shit today.
Give me a second here.
Can I add
Perception?
superiority dice to my perception roll?
No.
Hmm.
Oh, sadly.
You punch the darkness.
I'm gonna
Alright.
shoot it.
Yeah,
Yikes.
as you go on, you feel like you might shoot the darkness. Maybe it's gotten fairly thick. Even those with dark vision are realizing how very dim it is. Calda, you have the lantern. You're mostly keeping your sight glued to that 30-foot bright radius.
Alsana's kind of... Are we as far as Alsana's been, or are we deeper now?
At the start, you're about as far as Alsana's been, but you're starting to go in deeper.
Alright.
And trudge on for perhaps an hour. And Alsana, see just occasionally something in the distance, like a little Little light. There. And then it's gone again. I'm not quite sure what you saw, if it was something reflecting the lantern just once at the angle you were at, or if it was another light source, or maybe a little patch of a sunbeam that made it through to the forest floor despite the present base of gloom.
Does anyone else see that light flicker a few seconds ago?
Kane will use his polished shield to look in that direction.
Don't really see anything.
Not particularly, but you got a good view up there.
Just keep on your toes.
Alright.
It could be just natural something or other, but this place is anything but natural.
Yeah. As a note, you kind of saw it ahead and a little bit off to your left.
She'll
So you can...
relay that and just maybe have Calda kind of scoot a bit to the left.
It was pretty distant. It's not inside the lantern's range. Or
Yeah,
at least
no,
it
just
wasn't.
as they're going.
Okay.
Also, just, can we establish a marching order, maybe?
Yeah, by all means. Who's in front? Who's behind?
I imagine Calda leading.
Yep,
I'd
go
imagine Alaris stays back a little bit.
Kane will take the rear.
Yeah, if you want to kind of make your marching order along here just to have the visual. Calda in front,
Yeah.
Kane in the rear, Lars there.
Good job, guys. Going left to right.
Guys, you're going in the direction of the arrow. Make a line. Make a line, or if you're out of line, like Alsana flying in circles potentially, put it off to the side, but for the most part, do a line.
Yeah, she's basically, I would assume...
Calda, that's the back.
Good
Guys.
lord, sorry.
Guys,
There we go.
I can feel the brain cell bouncing around the empty skull like the DVD
Hey.
logo.
Hey,
Ooh.
hey,
Hey,
I got it. I got it first shot.
You didn't move anywhere.
Mom says it's my turn
I
on the
did.
brain cell.
John, you need it. Please take.
No.
Okay. Alright. You continue on in the direction you were heading?
Is it worth it to I mean, how dedicated you guys walking to straight line we're walking now? We can just follow it.
Well, we're heading towards the center.
You presume you're heading towards the center. Whoever is doing the guiding, do a survival check.
I have a +4. Who else is here? Who else has anything?
I think
No.
just logically it'd be either Calda or Asana.
It won't be called a...
Well, it's just confidence and things, I guess. From
Or does,
Well, we're going into the
does Alaris have
to
bonus?
Sorenwood, aren't we?
Yeah, you're going into the Soren Wood.
Wouldn't
But
I
you're going-
probably?
You're going pretty deep. I'll give you advantage because you went in actually a little bit deeper than this the very first time you guided people, but the
Yeah.
forest has changed, so the DC isn't going to lower.
Okay.
Can we have like 2 kind of going?
I'll
Because
say that one can aid
Alsana on the air.
Ooh.
Alsana, you can do one check,
All right.
but it's just going to be the higher DC because. Alright.
14, 10.
Okay.
Ah, damn it!
Did you forget guidance again?
I forgot guidance again.
Sorry. You have to remember next time.
Fuck.
Alright. But, Alsana, you're pretty sure that this downward grade slope probably would lead to some kind of central area. It's getting a little bit difficult because the dim light, the darkness in this area does make it a little bit difficult to determine direction. And after a while, it's not so much that all the trees look the same as you look and you don't see so much a particular feature as, oh look, more branches, more branches, more branches again. Tree, 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 tree. Another tree. It's not an uncanny, like, oh, I've seen this tree before thing. It's just another tree. So, you keep floating, trudging, walking.
Asana's gonna stop on one tree, just randomly,
Okay.
and see if she can't kind of just she's just gonna like produce flame on the tip of her finger to kind of like burn a line in it.
Alright. Yeah, you could probably do that. It is kind of wet with the...
Yeah, even just like an ash char to it.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and roll your spellcasting modifier just to see how precisely you can do this. How much you can make it stand out.
So raw wisdom or wisdom and proficiency?
Raw wisdom.
Alright.
Okay, 17. Alright, you get to a point where you're pretty satisfied. You've got a pretty distinct line on this bark. This charred and ashy black.
Alright.
Alright.
Just in case, I want to make sure.
Alright, and about then the first hour has passed. Everybody do a new perception check.
Guidance! Freaking
Guidance, one person.
myself!
Alright.
So, okay. Would I get advantage for this one as well?
Yeah, you haven't quite hit that final point. I
Yeah,
say
give me a
3 hours
second.
in.
My roll 20's being dumb.
Yeah, I noticed you seemed to fall out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. That's what I get when I remember guidance.
Okay. Always remember guidance because sometimes you get a 4. Alright, we'll get John. We'll get Alaris in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, Calder. You catch another flash of light visible off to the side. This time it's a little bit more to the right. There, behind a tree, gone again. Kane, you see a bit more of it. You have a slightly different angle at the back of the line than Calder does at the front. You see this this light wink into existence almost, and it seems to kind of float above the ground, bobbing gently, almost like the lantern that Calder is carrying. And then, as it passes behind a tree, it winks out again.
So kind of like a will-o-wisp?
Kind of. Something that maybe it's another light, maybe it's a reflection.
Oh wait, no, that's perception. Survival, right?
That is
No,
perception. I did want
It
perception.
is perception. Okay.
So, yeah, Elaris, you don't actually notice anything, and Alsana, you are kind of keeping an eye on the on your lamp vine, perhaps. But Kane, I'd say with a 23 perception, you do notice that it's as much as it kind of looks like a lantern being carried, it bobs in that same sort of gentle sway. You didn't actually see the shadow of anybody carrying it.
Okay. He's gonna basically say this to everyone as he kind of pulls out his hammer, I think is the one-handed weapon? Yeah. Hammer. And just start doing like the army walk towards it and kind of pointing everyone in that direction.
Oh, you saw it too, huh?
Yeah, not out of the corner of my eye though, like I got a pretty good view. Some kind of lantern maybe.
Lantern.
Anyone else get the feeling we're being led somewhere?
We're being watched or tracked or something.
No, I get that distinct impression. Especially if certain things are different now than they were years ago.
Well, let's hope we can kick the shit out of whoever's leading us.
Okay.
How thick is the forest above?
Very thick. On the broom, You might be able to fly a maximum of 10 feet above heads before you start really running into branches, and that is the maximum. Sometimes it's as low as, those taller than 6 foot are having to duck.
All right.
Alright. So as you're kind of heading after this bobbing light, Kane, have you taken the lead as you saw the light?
He'll like the first 30 feet maybe, but once it's clear that he hasn't made any better headway, he'll call the lead again with the.
Alright. You do, keeping that perception, you do see the light appear and disappear a couple more times, still swaying in that gentle, like, waist height on a human lantern sway.
He's gonna just get his longbow out. So like, do you guys want me to try to take a shot at it, or just let us do
Which
it there?
direction do you see it in?
He'll point it out with the arrow.
Alsana will try to look like exactly as she can, 180 degrees the other way.
Okay, you're trying to look in the opposite direction?
Yeah, like absolute opposite.
Since you're looking
From
for
where they were
something very
coming.
since you're looking for something very specific, I'll say another perception check.
Okay. Guidance.
Yeah.
Because I can't. 26.
By all means. Add that d4.
27.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Alright, you look in the exact opposite direction. Dark forest. Nothing of note. Your eyes strain. You don't really see anything. You look back. This time you actually do see that flicker of light. It might perhaps be... 50 feet in the distance. 60. Maybe 65.
Do you want to call to it? It's nearby.
It disappears again. Just behind a tree and it's gone. You notice it's kind of heading somewhat, it's meandering a little bit back and forth, but it's heading on this downhill trajectory.
Same kind of trajectory we're slowly going?
The same kind, yes. And the weaving back and forth is kind of that a person might do in order to traverse a sloping ground.
Okay. Let me check something real quick.
Yeah. And as you're going, you've probably gotten at least level with about where you or Kane first caught sight of it, and if you look around on the ground, there's no tracks.
Is it always in the direction we're heading?
It happens to be the direction that you've taken. You kind of moved in that direction, I believe.
Is it leading us, or are we following it, or is it taking the same path as us? And there's nothing holding it. I don't see a shadow, so either it's holding. It's either simply the light itself. There's something holding it that we can't see, or it's facing towards us this whole time.
So a chance it's floating, or there's just nothing attached to it.
Well, for I
So
know,
you can move pretty quick in that room, right?
she kind of turns. Well, what do you mean to imply, dear brother?
Next time we see it, do you want to see if it moves faster than you do, just for 100, 150 feet?
And then run into something that might attempt to kill me, while you two are 50 feet back?
Well, from 150 feet, I can still hit whatever's there.
Calda, would you like to come with me? And she kind of like scoots over and like leaves room on the broom.
Alright, Calder will pop on.
The lantern might be helpful. Two of you might want to light a torch or something for yourselves.
Probably. And I guess we're probably the best equipped for long range too, anyways. Draw his longbow.
Okay. You keep going in that same direction down this
Does the
slope.
broom stay at 50 or 30?
It's 50 because Calda is not medium sized.
Okay,
If
that's
it
what
was
I was
medium
wondering.
sized, it would go down to 30.
Alright.
All right. As you're going down this slope, you begin to see, kind of at the base where it seems that this slope is going down, and you see just a little bit distance another slope, and it meets in this divot, and you see this frozen over stream running through between these tall trees. You see rocks around it and on various hills. You see the splintered stump of what had once been a actual like forest giant of a tree that had long since, it seems, fallen over and hollowed out in the inside. And then you see that little light blink on just over the frozen stream, just beside the tree. And it kind of bobs and sways,
Hold on.
but this
And
time it doesn't move.
Alsan will kind of make a not a full-on dash, but like the 50 feet towards it.
Alright. It's about 65-ish, 70 feet away, so you can get within 20 feet of it at your full movement without dashing.
And the lantern's 30 feet, yes.
Yes, and the lantern is indeed 30 feet, so Calda is on the broom right behind you. And you get the lantern illuminating a pretty good area, including overlapping with that floating light. But you don't see anything different. Give me a quick perception check.
I'm
Yeah,
remembering.
Go ahead. You're looking for... Go ahead and give me that d4 just to see.
24.
Alright, 24. You're looking for, presumably, the shadow of a humanoid, a skulk, the pale man that the children saw. As if he was holding in the lantern, I'm guessing. But it's
basically
just the
anything
light.
that the light is connected to.
Yeah, but that's your first thought, perhaps. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
However, you do notice something else. The little light is still just bobbing there, but you happen to glance downward, and it's a little bit hard to tell with the reflection of the snow with the lantern light surrounding you. But you glance down at the front of your broom, and you see that your lamp vine has dimmed. And at this point, I'm going to move you onto a map, and we're going to roll some initiative.
Alright.
As suddenly, that little light darts forward towards you, Alsana. And you see electrical energy dancing around it, and it attempts to attack. However, we're going to leave that for initiative. It is not getting a surprise round. You see it go towards you. So, I'll actually leave it at the 20-foot range it was before. It's just starting to move. So I'll go ahead and pull up the tracker. There's the turn order. I'll switch this music, and I'll start rolling initiative as well. And if anybody needs to run to the bathroom or do anything of the sort, now is your chance. Because I've got some rolls to do.
Of course. Calda, help me out here.
Yep, you know it.
Alsana, does Alsana know these are like will-o-wisps, basically?
At this point, I will allow you a very quick nature check.
Alright.
Just, but it would only hit you as you notice the lamp vine has dimmed.
12.
Mm,
We'll do 4. Add a guide.
Am I allowed
Only
to?
two
That would
guidance?
have.
yeah, I think you do have to usually call it as you're rolling or before you're
Well,
rolling.
no, I assume she basically didn't have time to cast guidance on herself. It's still an action.
Yeah, that is true. So no, you don't have the guidance on top of that. So 12. You're not quite sure. There's legends about will-o-wisps, or at least will-o-wisp-like beings, that say they are helpful. They aid and guide travelers who are lost. There are others that say they are evil, that they're actually, like, spirits or horrible beings from either the Shadowfell or the Feywild, perhaps, that delight in mischief and either guiding travelers who are lost to be even more lost and confused, or even to their deaths, depending on the legend that's being told. You've got the feeling that this is perhaps a similar class of being. You know that the lamp vine is dimmed, so it might be undead, or there might be something else nearby that's undead. You might not know quite for sure which it is. However, for now, Calda, you're up. Is everybody back? Do I need to give a little more time?
I think we're good.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think we're good.
Can Alsana eke out a sentence as initiative starts?
Possibly, if it's very short.
It's undead.
Alright,
All
Calda.
right.
You were
Alright.
actually kind of technically in the same space as Alsana right now. The broom is not 10 feet long, but for the sake of simplicity, I've placed you a square behind.
Okay. As a
This
bonus
thing-
action.
Darting towards you. Go ahead.
Alright. As a bonus action, Calda's going to look at Alsana and cast this on her.
Alright.
Keep yourself safe, dear. Scurry off the broom. 10 feet action, 2 hits with the glaive.
Alright, give me those hits. Oh, those both definitely hit. This thing is a darting, weaving mass of light, but somehow you managed to pierce into a fairly solid center. Though I will say, is your glaive magical?
It is not, but on the first attack I will do this. Oh, yes, first level.
Alright, go ahead. Okay. So you kind of, as this thing is made of light, you kind of get the sense that, oh, I'm not actually cutting anything. You know you've swiped solidly into something, but there's very little resistance. But you go ahead and you channel your divine light down the glaive, and you see it kind of literally light up from the inside. This soft blue white glow is overtaken by your golden divine energy for a second. It comes back to itself, but it looks a little bit more tattered than it was before.
Alright, Calda will call out to the guys.
Oh wait, I miscounted something. It's 5 plus 4 plus 15. Am I right? So yeah, it's actually
Yeah.
dead. It actually bursts apart as that radiant energy runs through it. And you hear,
Wow.
actually, you don't hear anything. They can't speak. But Alsana, you think you hear on the very faintest edges of your hearing a small scream.
Hmm.
And with 15 more feet, Calda will move right here.
Alright.
And just for reference, the lantern is going to hang just on the edge of the room.
Okay, so the lantern is currently attached to Alsana, basically.
Mhm. Yeah.
Alright, noted. I'll keep track of that.
Lamp and lantern.
Lamp and lantern, you've got all the lights. Dark little witch has all the lights. Elaris, you just saw this happen. You were left pretty far away as those two went dashing on the broom. You've got about 50 feet to ground level with them.
50 feet.
Yeah, give me a quick perception check, just the corner of the eye sort of thing.
What are the? Okay, give me a sec here. Perception.
Okay. Yep, perception.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, you're pretty fixated on them down there, 50 feet away. You saw them take out the only thing that you saw as a threat, though. So what would you like to do? Anything?
So who do we got? Give me a sec.
You just have your 2 allies in front of you, 50 feet away, and your 1 ally behind you. You don't see anything else right now.
Don't see anything else right now?
Nope.
Alright, I'm gonna start inching towards my allies over here.
Okay.
So yeah, that should be good.
Okay.
And then as a bonus action, I'm going to summon the crossbow.
Alright.
So that's it.
Alright, in that case. Next up, you see the thing you missed before. As another streak of light this time comes barreling towards you from behind the stump of that great tree. And it comes within reach of you, and you see light spark out from it. Unfortunately,
Does not
well,
hit.
fortunately for you, unfortunately for it, it goes wild.
Ooh.
Alright. Alsana, as a note, how far up are you on the broom? You probably floated down for Calder to jump, but...
Yeah. Yeah, probably about 5 feet off the ground.
Okay. Alright, here's where stuff gets fun. Suddenly, a couple of creatures leap out from inside the husk of this tree. They look humanoid in shape, but they look brown, gnarled, with long, bony limbs. Each one seems to have a rusted old short sword strapped to its side. One of them draws that sword, the other one wraps a length of thin rope around its hands and pulls it taut. And they come streaking out across the snow towards each of you. One to Alsana, and one to Calda. Alsana, the one with the short sword, is going to aim for you.
Alright.
It's 1 attack. 14 to hit.
Yeah,
Shield of
plus
Faith
two
is
AC.
+2, yeah?
Yep.
Is Shield of Faith on both of you?
Just on Alsana.
Yep, and that does not
Okay.
hit.
Alright. The other one is going to go for Calda, and it attempts with that piece of rope to actually reach out with its great, long, spindly arms. It's medium-sized, it's bigger than you, and it attempts to wrap the rope around you, but you are small and you duck right out of the way. That is their turn. Alright. Alsana, you are up next, having seen this attack attempt and fail.
Does she see the wisp behind her as well?
Yeah, a lot of things happened at once. You're aware that something tried to get out at Elaris. You probably heard the shout from him.
Alright. Then, yep, she'll kind of turn. She's like, undead, huh? She'll kind of put the hand into the pouch of ash and, like, with the blackened hand, just kind of, like, feel the shield on her, and she's like, Holy Radiance, okay, you can do this. And we'll cast Sacred Flame on the thing in front of her.
Okay, on this little guy. Alrighty then. So, Sacred Flame, 8 radiant damage, DC 15, dexterity throw. Let's see how he does. He saves. It's a cantrip, so no damage.
Yep. Damn thing. Alright. She's... Shield of Faith just always a +2 until you lose concentration, or...
Yeah.
duration?
Yep.
Resting
Minute.
time.
10 minutes, apparently.
Okay.
10? Oh, okay.
If Tide got it in right, concentration up to 10 minutes.
I dragged it on, so I really hope it's right.
Alright.
Well, 20 could have it wrong, so if somebody wants to double check in a book, I won't stop them.
Already
Yeah,
checked.
I'll grab my book.
Mhm.
Okay, then for now that'll be your turn.
Yep, up to 10 minutes.
Okay, Kane.
Arthur, get your ass over here.
Working on it. He's gonna step up. He's gonna ask Lars. Need a hand there?
A little bit.
Alright. He's gonna give one to the glowy fuck in front of Alaris, and then
Glowy
one to
fuck.
and then one to the thing attacking Alsana.
Okay.
Will I find my longbow? There it is.
That
It's the glowy
misses.
fuck.
That misses the glowy thing.
I was so hoping you'd say it. Okay. And second
of
one.
course you were.
Yeah, and second one to the other one. Shit.
Yeah. That misses as well.
Shit. Okay.
Kind of 2 arrows into the snow. And you can barely see the feathered end sticking out. Like sad little flags.
And he's gonna get up to there. Free action, stow the longbow. Bonus action, draw the glaive,
Alright.
and that'll be his turn.
Okay, Calda. Your turn.
Alrighty. Let's do. Yeah, they're both a little annoying. So with the glaive again, one hit at the first one at the one attacking Calda, second one at the one attacking Alsana.
Okay. Let me have them. Okay, the first one does hit. You carve a little bit out of the side of this thingy. The second one unfortunately whiffs as you try to whirl from the first to the second, and it just dodges, and you hear a little
Calda will spit at it.
Alright, anything... I'm sorry, I
Touch
didn't click. Okay. Ilaris.
Can I backseat for
Alright.
for real like 5
So-
seconds, gang?
What?
Can I backseat for 5 seconds real quick, gang?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just generally better to focus on things so you kill them and they don't do damage anymore rather than spacing it out amongst all the monsters. That's all I have
Yep.
to say.
The reason I do mine is because if I hit yours, I can do reposition ally.
Yeah, no, that's
Alright,
I'm
give
just
me a
saying in
second
general.
here. Yeah. Just gonna put that into existence. That I have that.
Alright.
Asha
And,
exists,
I'm
we're
gonna
aware of the feat.
shoot directly at it.
And you directly miss
Alright, then
thunk
I'm
into
going
the-
to... Yeah,
into the trunk of that tree right there.
okay. And then, since I have, Thirsting Blade, I can attack, twice within the action. I ignore
Yeah.
loading, so I can take another shot at it.
Yes, you can. Go ahead. Unfortunately,
Fuck.
that misses as well.
Fuck!
Yep. Unfortunately, this Will-o'-the-Wisp is doing a little loop-de-loop right in front of you. It's going to decide to attack the newcomer, Kane. Bigger target, potentially. And you see it charging up its electricity. How does a 16 do?
Just hits. I just put my shield away.
Lightning damage, 10. So, the arcs of electricity race out from it and across your form as you bring your glaive around, and you kind of have the flash of thought, oh, maybe this wasn't a good idea, right before it runs across you and stands all your hair on end. That's it for its turn. These two little buggers are going to kind of attempt the same thing that they did before. Where they're gonna... One's gonna go with the short sword. It's actually gonna kind of wheel around so that maybe it thinks that Calda can't get to it with the glaive. She probably could, but it thinks. and it's going to attempt with the short sword on the floaty
Just
target
rolled a
again.
good opportunity.
No,
so
it's still within range. This thing is just hoping.
Hmm.
Yeah, it could frankly circle around to another point, but it's still within the 10-foot reach. The other one is once again going to. It's not abandoned this rope trick it has yet. It likes its rope trick. It's going to attempt on Calda. 21 is going to hit. 5 bludgeoning damage. You are currently grappled.
Ooh, does that count as magical or non-magical? Just asking
The
for
attack?
resistance. Yeah, just asking for the resistance.
Do you resist non-magical?
Currently, with the 10 days, because it has not been 10 days since we did the thing.
Yes. It is non-magical. You do resist that bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
These
I will
things
make-
are not magical, so yeah.
okay,
But
give me a
you are grappled. All right. You
Alrighty.
keep concentration on that shield. So yeah, on your turn, you can use an action to attempt to escape DC 13, but you do have disadvantage. However, at the start of this thing's turn, you do take an additional damage. But it's currently wrapped around you, all long, hairy arms and the rope around the front of your throat. And it's holding on for dear, dear life.
Okay.
Alsana, just before your turn,
Hmm.
from the edge of that bright lantern light, you see, suddenly revealed, as it moves in and scuttles towards you, the Skulk. It leaps across that icy bit of stream and gets just within reach of you. It does not have advantage because you can see it. It hasn't realized this, though, which is why it's charging forward, ready to attack.
Hmm.
So it's only a 10 to hit, so that misses. And it looks bewildered. If this thing could have an expression, that you just dodged out of the way. It is your
And-
turn now.
She'll look right at it. Oh, you're a
Mhm.
nasty thing, aren't you? But for now... She is going to... That's range. You know what? She'll... Oh!
She will.
Hold on. Sorry, I'm measuring.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to cast Fairy Fire.
Alright, exactly where are you placing this?
Right around here.
Oh, nice little cube where you catch those two and nobody else. Okay. That'll be 2 dexterity saving throws. What is your DC?
My DC... I think it was 15?
That one fails. And this one succeeds. The Skulk is not lit up with fairy fire, but what color are you using?
I'd say black, but I don't think it works that way.
I'll put a purple dot on
Yeah,
here.
probably purple.
Okay.
But like a edgy, dark shade of purple,
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
an amethyst.
Yep.
but all edgy and cool like.
Yes,
Edgy amethyst that seems to be highlighting this thing's weak areas.
yes.
Alright. So as long as you concentrate on that, this thing is lit up like a little candle,
Was hoping for the other
sparkling
one,
against the snow.
but
Yes.
alright.
But that thing's dexy and it rolled real high.
Yep. Can't move from here because they need the lamp. Okay, yep, that'll be your turn for now.
Alright. Kane.
Kane, over here.
working on it. He's gonna take a quick slash at the one in front of him.
Okay. Make your attack roll.
And with that, he's
That
going
hits.
to add a push attack. Additionally,
Okay.
damage.
14 strength save. Oh. It'd have to roll real high. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, it didn't have much hope.
Shove
Uh,
it out of the way.
5.
You get pushed up to 15 feet. All 15?
Mhm.
It goes
Alright.
flying backwards. Does not take as much damage overall as you might expect,
That's
but
alright.
these things are not easy to hit.
Free action, bonus action, switch to longbow, take a shot at the skulker.
Okay, you take a shot at the skull. Blah, blah, blah.
The other thing is currently fairy fired. But yeah.
Yeah, but you've already taken a shot at that, and the arrow clatters off the rock at its side
Alright, action
as it
surge.
dodges out of the way. Okay.
Kane,
We're gonna
I lit
do
the
that.
thing up.
Huh?
Kane, I lit
hold
the
on.
thing up.
I know, hold on.
He's just currently harried,
Shit.
harried by enemies.
Yeah, I know. Quit your bitching. He's gonna give one more to the skulker.
Okay. That hits.
And with that, he's just gonna let it take that damage for now. Actually, no, he'll reposition ally. If you'd like to move up to 15 feet of your choice, Alsana, that is your choice.
Dice and allow one ally. You choose that ally, and you're choosing Alsana?
Yep.
Alright. She'll move.
It does take your reaction now. Keep in mind.
Yeah. It's... Yeah, no opportunities.
No opportunities.
She'll go over to here.
Okay.
Alright, and then his final attack will be on the lit up. I know you said the name, but I've already forgotten it.
I didn't say the name.
The chat said the name. Yazel
Yeah.
or something.
There we go. God, I can't roll for shit.
Well, that's
Uh,
enough. That
none
hit.
of the
I
scare-
mean the damage. And he'll just leave that damage as it is.
Okay. Thunk. That one reels back a little bit. Alright, Kalda. You're up
Oh,
next.
sorry. Real quick, can you use movement as well?
Yes, you can. Go ahead and do that real quick. There you go.
Alright, disadvantage athletics check. Oh, wait.
If you want to use your action for that, you can. You are grappled. Nothing is stopping you from actually hitting anything. Your movement is just 0.
And you're just taking the damage.
Yeah, you're just taking the damage if you stay grappled. It's up to you.
Okay, yeah. Let's just keep hitting that thing, actually. 2 more attacks on the thing that's just grappling me. Let's turn off disadvantage.
Go ahead. 2 more straight up attacks. Okay, those both hit. This thing does not seem resistant, but it is still standing, though it seems very, very hurt. It's straining and trembling as it holds on to you.
Can I drop a smite on it?
If you want to.
Generally, it's understood you do it before, you know, if it's still
Yeah,
standing
that's
from the
why,
original
'cause I'm like,
damage.
"Ugh."
It's when you hit.
Yeah, let's do it,
Yeah.
actually, because I don't want to be a dick with that.
Okay.
Technically, Roll20 just makes it really hard to do that. That's why it's kind of weird.
Well, roll 20, you can see your damage, but it's the difference between, okay, I did 9, and okay, I did 9 and it didn't die
Okay,
yet.
we're not gonna
no,
drop
I
the
know,
smite.
I know.
Guys, it's okay. We're not gonna drop the smite. That's our turn.
Okay. Alaris,
Alright.
you're up. You got a floaty thing there, you've got a lit up thing over there, you've got a skulky thing just visible as this pale, featureless humanoid. Drab, smooth skinned.
So I can see this one over here.
You can see everything.
The
Okay,
two small,
cool.
the 2 spindly guys are, at least the one
So
by
I'm
Calda is
going to
damaged.
shoot the glowy thing first. I'm going to shoot the glowy thing right in front of me.
Okay, shoot it. Give me that attack roll. And misses, unfortunately.
God damn.
What is
Go
with
for the
this?
advantage, my dudes.
Huh?
Go for the thing with advantage.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna go for the thing with advantage.
You're gonna go for the purple one. Okay, shoot.
Yes.
Give me that shot.
All right.
So I was hoping he'd take out the wisp because he isn't resisted by it.
Alright,
Okay.
well
I thought
done.
I thought it was a 10, another 10, and I was gonna flip my shit.
No, you hit. And it does a solid amount of piercing damage. Alright, do you want to move? Do you have a bonus action? Anything else? Is that your turn?
Yeah, that's my turn.
Okay. Alright, the Wisp. Torn between so many options. It can get to anything. Let's see. Who looks fun? You know what?
It could
It
zoom
has
right
no
in there
idea.
and do a D3.
Or it could do a d4 looking around, so I'm just going to do that. It's going to go for Calda. And yeah, it is going to zoop right in there because then actually, it's got a hell of a... Hold on. It's got a hell of a movement speed. Let me see if it can... Oh, it can easily zoop around and get to the other side of Calda without provoking any opportunity attacks, so it's going to go ahead and do that. These things are not completely stupid. And it's going to attempt a shock on Calda. Does a 19 hit?
Ooh. Yeah, she does. Constitution.
Okay.
Shit.
Alright. You keep it.
You're good.
You keep it. You're good.
Alrighty.
Alright.
Come on.
Okay, at the start
Taste
of
these
the...
orange muscles.
Yeah, at the start of the Measles turn... Just go ahead and
Didn't
give it
say
to you.
weasel.
I'll just go ahead and give it to you. Because as you said, you can read it. Calda, you take this in bludgeoning damage.
Okay, have 2-5.
Yeah, as it's still clinging onto you. And it's looking a little desperate and unhappy with turn of events as they are. It is going to disengage, no opportunity, and it's going to scramble.
Isn't it
up
currently
over-
grappling?
It released the grapple. It disengaged.
Okay.
Do you have to take an action to release a grapple? Because the thing doesn't say that.
No, it's equivalent to letting go of a weapon.
Okay. It lets go of the grapple, it disengages, and it scarpers. And it is going to, on the other side of that, attempt to hide and not do very well. You can still kind of see the tuft of the back of its head sticking up over the log.
Can it hide as bonus action?
Yes, it can.
Bitch. Okay.
That's that one. The one lit up with fairy fire is
Come
gonna
on, try and
kind
hide
of...
from us.
No, it's kind of going... patting its chest, and then
Goodness.
it charges...
God, Ariel.
It charges
God, Ariel.
directly at... Alsana, how high up on the broom are you?
5 feet.
Alright, it's still got its short sword, and it's gonna... with the sword.
Nope.
And miss. The fairy fire is getting its own in its eyes. The skulk. Having options and suddenly aware that you guys are looking right at it. Let's see. Oh god, Calda. It's gonna sidle over here, thinking maybe it's gonna be out of reach of those two. Maybe it hasn't figured out the glaive situation yet. And
I've
it's
got a long bow.
yeah, you've got a longbow out. Good point. It's gonna take a swipe at Calda. Ignore the second attack damage. 18 to hit.
Yep. Is that magical slashing or not magical?
5 slashing damage. This thing does not say that its attacks are magical for the sake of the distances, so I'll say it's non-magical. So you
Alright.
take half that. And that is gonna be its turn. Oh, you kept shield. Well done. Alsana.
Alright, this thing Belloran is alive for too long. She is going to... Actually, because the wisp is down there, yeah?
Yeah, the wisp is on the other side of Calda.
Is the wisp flickery at all?
Flickery. Not
Can she-
particularly.
Can she judge its health in any capacity?
Give me a quick nature check.
Alright. Also, just curious if she saw the hit that Kane did before hit or anything. 21.
You see little trails, wisps of light bleeding almost off its form at the very edges. It doesn't look like it's about to fall apart right now, but it looks like damage has been done.
Alright, okay.
You know these things can be hit. You've
Alright.
seen your allies do it.
And she sees how... Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers. The invisible guy isn't too good if he doesn't have advantage, so she's going to frostbite the wisp.
Okay. That's a Constitution saving throw. Make sure that I've got that. Yep. And that fails. However, 10 cold damage. Yeah, you send frost crackling through it, but half the frost seems to just pass through harmlessly.
That's okay, it has disadvantage on its next attack.
So it does. Next weapon attack roll. Okay. Noted. Oh, sorry, anything else?
Believe that's it for now.
Kane, you are up.
Right, bonus action to switch to glaive, and then I'm gonna make. Yeah, gonna make one attack on the glowy one for now. And if it knocks it out, it'll attack the other one. But if not, I'll attack the other.
Okay, give me that advantaged attack. That hits. Doesn't do much, but you get the feeling that was kind of on you.
Yeah. Damn. Okay.
Alright, not
And
down.
second attack.
It hits again. Kind of the same situation.
I got a D10. Come on. Okay.
Why won't you just die already?
Exactly.
And he's gonna flank around over there.
Okay, I think that you pass out of the measles attack range if you do that, so it does get an attack of opportunity.
Yep.
Alright, it's got its short sword out, so it swipes, and oh. Yeah, that probably hits. 6 piercing damage plus 1 necrotic. As this blade,
Banking on a miss there.
yeah, this blade digs into your side as you pass by underneath your armor, and you get the feeling that this burning cold sensation spreads around the center of the wound just a little bit, and you get the feeling, ooh, wonder how clean that sword is. Oh, that's not good.
I'm just gonna yell to Alaris to take down the easy targets.
Yeah.
Alright, is that all?
Yep.
Kalda, it is your turn. You are no longer grappled. Your speed is what it was, but you are currently surrounded by enemies that seem to be flailing and more often than not in your direction.
Okay, I think. Yeah, Calder's gonna go for the skulk. If there's a hit on one of them,
You have
we're
advantage
gonna
on
use
the
it.
other guy.
Yeah, but the other guy.
Self's dead though. I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
Damn it. 2 hits on the skulk.
Okay, aim for the skulk.
Give me a second to uninstall that steering wheel I put on the back of my seat.
That hit,
them
and that
is-
does it. That does it.
Oh!
That first
awesome.
hit does the trick. The second hit you can reposition somewhere else.
Let's reposition for the shiny boy. So I'll just roll again for the.
Yeah, roll
20,
another
just to see.
d20. Let's just see if you crit.
No.
Okay, no. But, that hits, and that is also enough to take the shiny one out. All you have left is a wisp and a hide, one that thinks it's hidden.
Alrighty, that is called this turn.
Alright. Elaris.
Yeah. All right. Who we got? So, who can I see right now?
You can see the will-o'-the-wisp kind of dancing and bobbing in front of Kalda. You can see, like, the top of the other creature's head over the tree, but I'd say in this case it has,
3/4.
if not full, then at least 3/4 cover. It would be a difficult shot.
Okay, so I'm gonna go for the will-o'-the-wisp.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Alright, and that is enough to
Music stop
shatters.
for anyone else?
Pin that sucker to a tree.
Nope. Music is still going, it's just very quiet.
Hmm.
Second one to get one behind a tree? Okay, go for it.
Yeah. Second one.
Unfortunately, the bolt goes thunk, dunk, 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 in the trunk. You see the little tuft of hair jump.
Come on.
Alright, anything else?
No.
Alright, Wisp
Wait,
is
hold
gone.
on.
Hold on, you said?
Yeah, no, I'm just having to look, right? Look at everything. Look at if I'm doing everything correctly. Sorry, no, keep going. It's just I just have to look through this.
Alright.
Alright. And it's this thing's turn. It jumped. It looks up and over the trunk. Sees all of this, sees the bodies on the ground.
4 heads turn to face it.
Yep, 4 heads turn to face it. And it goes, "Oh, bugger this!" And you see it just out of sight. Completely gone. Little burst of snow scatters off the top of the tree trunk.
Like a talk.
Can Alsana shoot over 50 feet? Just try and see it?
You can. Give me perception.
Right. Perception, she doesn't have time for guidance. 24.
You look around. You don't see anything. You don't see anything in the lantern's light. Nothing's invisible. Your lamp vine isn't dimming. You look down on the ground. You see it where its prints were very clearly, and you see this faint scattering of snow around them, but no footprints leading away from the spot where it stood. And you know enough about magic, and you're perceptive enough in this case, that you suspect it didn't walk away from this location.
Damn thing.
Are we
With
still in
that-
initiative?
Nope. With that, initiative is over as silence descends on the clearing.
She kind of like
I'm gonna
whips her
pick up the sword.
She kind of whips her hand down towards the ground, and just some of the sacred flame she was prepping just scatters
Okay.
and floats on back.
Okay, I'll just pick up the sword from the. Forgot the name again.
From the measle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Is it still vaguely short, sword shaped?
It's short sword shaped. It's rust colored. It in fact seems to be made at least 25% of rust. Like the entire outer layer of it seems to be rust.
Can Alsana give the look at the body of the skulk?
Sure, if you'd like.
Is it only, like, now that it's dead, is it still invisible without the lantern light?
Interesting question, one that I don't believe the book really answers.
I mean, if it's just naturally like that all the time.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that it's still invisible without the lantern light.
In which case, she's going to kind of glance it over and... How do the claws look?
Ragged, like overgrown fingernails that have thickened to an inhuman degree.
Do we know
They're
about
not so much.
Do we know about Kane's bag of holding?
Yeah.
You know that he tends to stick weapons into it that should not possibly fit.
Brother, you're a rather spacious bag. Would you be opposed to sticking an invisible corpse in it?
I don't know. Not the first time.
Please tell me about the first time, then.
Nope. He just picks it up, puts it in this bag.
Can she inside that to see if he's just bullshitting?
By all means, you can incite that. That's up to Conrad how well you do, necessarily. Okay.
Damn it.
Roll your d4.
I'm gonna roll charisma and decide if it's persuasion or deception.
By
Separate.
all means, go ahead.
12.
You got a 12 to beat.
Why you
Sorry,
got
not 19.
advantage, my
It's an
dude?
18.
Ah, come
It's
on.
still
Oh, it's
one
18.
lower. 18. Yeah. Hard to read. He's stuffed it into the bag and he moved on.
She just like gives a glance, thinks about it. Nice try, sailor boy.
Just shrugs. I'm gonna grab. Is there anything left of the will-o-wisps?
No, they just burst into light and are gone.
Okay. In that case, he'll shoulder the measle over it. Just to carry it. We going deeper in, or head back with this at least?
I don't
get kinda
think
dark.
these were the sources of it.
Your choice. Mind if we take a moment just to catch your breaths?
I suppose. Why
mean, I
are
can keep
you
going.
overly tired?
No, but if we're gonna look for the source, I imagine it's gonna be a tough fight. No point overexerting myself.
I only agree because there's water here, and we can... I'll check first. And she'll actually go down to the little river and break the ice and kind of pick up some of the water.
Okay. Yeah,
Open
it's
in here.
it's a really shallow stream, so it's completely frozen over. But you can get a little trickle of water that's sitting underneath.
She'll like take a bottle out of her bag and just kind of get some of it, like leave it there to collect a bit.
Okay. You get it. It thoroughly chills that bottle. It is so very
Frosty.
frozen cold to the touch. Yes.
She's fine with that.
All right.
I imagine Alsana has like 24/7, like put the hands on the neck and you go. "Eek."
If you'd like, yeah.
She's in that like, if the if the if the if the ghost is like 80% undead but not like a corpse but not quite and still alive, she's at like the 10% mark.
All right then. So you've got your bottle of water. What would you like to do with it?
She's just gonna swirl it and give it a look and see if it's just pure water or if there's any unsightly blighty stuff to it.
Impurities.
Yes.
All right. I'll say that you, with some of your proficiencies, you have proficiency on this check.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and call it an intelligence check. So
Alright.
basically, if you have something
I'll make a nature
intelligence
check
and
then.
proficient, go ahead. Yeah, it's pure, fresh, clean water.
At least the stream's
You are very
clean.
confident in that.
And she'll just kind of take a drink of the freezing cold water.
It is freezing, freezing cold. It numbs your entire mouth and throat.
And
it
Thank God.
shoots painful headache up into the temple of your up into your temples potentially. Give me a quick Constitution save
Alright.
against brain freeze.
She's going to rub her temples with guidance. Wait, no, that's ability check.
I don't think.
That's
I
a
don't
save, you
think. No.
Yep.
No.
Sorry.
This happens in an instant. You don't have time to guidance this anyway.
Alright.
It's a save anyways.
8.
And it's a save anyways. Yeah. You get a little bit of. Oop, right there, right at the temples, into the brain.
Just
Feels like the water turned into ice inside your sinuses and then shot up as little needles.
she just thought, if I'm gonna be friends with Tokuni, this is the thing I'm gonna have to get used to.
Okay.
Kane's just sat down on the stump and is attempting to sharpen up the new sword he has.
All right. As a note, because I drew this map, and to
Oh,
keep
really?
things simple, all these little stumpy things are actually the trunks of trees. This raggedy one, however, is an actual stump where this tree fell. So
Oh, this
this
one up here.
this is a raggedy stump. You can kind of sit on one of the root humps, though. Those are pretty smooth and exposed.
She'll kind of.
He might
Yes.
use his warhammer just to clear the ice off at first so it doesn't slip his ass off immediately.
Sure. Yeah,
Alsana
all these
also-
things are trees going upwards.
Alsana will also go over there and just kind of run her hand over it and just see if it's actually kind of just naturally fell over.
Yeah,
Like-
sure. Give me another nature check.
All right. 21.
Yeah. The way that it's all splintered and torn, this wasn't cut down. It wasn't even bashed or knocked over. It seems that something perhaps weakened it. Maybe some bugs, maybe just age, just rot in the tree, and it went over one day.
She'll
It's
also
old. It's been a while.
she'll also walk over into the hollowed out bit and see if there's any sign that those two little shits were in there before now.
Yeah. You peer in, maybe with the lantern. Just get a little extra light, though you don't need it. Half elf.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a little hard to tell, but you see little, like, pushed together bunches of old dead leaves away from the frost and cold and snow.
Okay, so they were
They
kind
might
of
have been
staying
nests.
there.
They might have been beds. Yeah.
Well, it seems we've kicked them out of house and home. But honestly, I don't want to. Where did they even come from? Does she know anything about these things now that they fought them and kind of given a look at them and there's a corpse of one of them?
One more ready nature check.
Guidance.
As I watch you figure out everything about the monsters I put in this game.
Yes.
It's Devin. Are you surprised?
Yeah, no, I'm just wanting to see. Okay, add your D4.
16.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot, but not a lot. You know they can teleport, but they didn't seem to show any magic beyond that.
Do they have,
You
they have
got the
20
sense
years?
that they, uh, let me see. Kind of, but in an elongated way.
Mhm.
It wasn't like an elf pointy ear. It was long. There was this thatch of almost fur along the back of them, patches of fur at the elbows, the knees, clawed hands and feet. The face wasn't. The face was broadly humanoid, but kind of off. Like the nose wasn't a nose that you'd see on pretty much any humanoid. It's this squashed flat part of the face, beady glowing red eyes. This thing's kind of built along the same lines, but it doesn't look exactly the same.
Not quite humanoid.
Maybe, maybe not.
Mhm.
It could be adjacent. It could be technically. It could be something else entirely that just kind of looks like a giant. Looks like a humanoid but big. Um,
She'll just kind of
You-
like take
you
out a
got the
piece of
sense
paper
that-
and sketch it down, basically.
yeah. You got the sense that it liked dim light and darkness a bit better. It deliberately disengaged and ran away from that lantern. That's about it, though.
Alright. Yep, she'll just kind of sketch down the look of them and like roughly and just kind of some notes on it and just, well, if we find a library, I can always give a look up.
All right. And with that, are you taking a short rest here? Was that the implication?
Yeah, if the group implies it.
Yeah, that's what Kane's shooting for at least, because I think me and Caldo got a little bit of our shit kicked in.
All right. Yeah, you can go ahead and sit down.
Can I get an
and-
okay from the other two on that?
Yeah.
John?
Yeah.
Short rest, all good? You're up for it?
Sure, rest sounds good.
Alright.
All right. Sit down. You hang out in this general area. Any light activity that you think might work for this short rest? It's
Honestly-
probably not as much as like you can keep watch, but you can't really do patrol if you want to take
Alsana
advantage.
will.
Okay.
She's not gonna take a rest.
Okay. And anybody who is taking that rest, go ahead and roll your hit dice.
Yeah.
Is there any rule saying you can only roll a certain number of hit dice per short rest?
Nope.
No,
Oh, so you only give me the option for up to 3.
really, that's odd.
Yeah.
What's your con modifier?
+2.
Maybe Google that, but I've never.
Yeah, I never
seen-
had that happen before. I was just wondering if I mistaken something.
No, that's odd.
I was only going to roll 3 anyways, but
Yeah.
Also, just kind of as they start the rest of the I'll just go over to
Not the-
Calda.
Up to about full.
Go over to Calda and just thank you for the shield back there. They didn't lay a finger on me. And there's a few times where I thought they might.
Yeah, you needed it more than I did, to be honest.
I can take a bit of a hit. I'm not paper skin and wooden bones, you know.
There's people here who can take a bit more of a hit, and I didn't. Those things were freaky.
Yes,
Didn't want
just I'm just saying, don't bend yourself out of shape. Over my safety,
Right.
I can take at least a bit, and I can add a bit to myself if I need to.
I know, and dear, really, do I look out of shape? That bad?
Oh, well, I mean, you seem pretty touchy on the subject,
I'm joking, please.
as am I. Would you prefer I leave your lamp with you, or take it with a quick scout around?
If you want to do a quick scout around, but I can't really see without it, so bring it back.
Oh, then
Please.
I'll stick with my own lamp then. And she just kind of takes the lantern off the thing and just kind of leaves the lamp vine.
Okay. Do a quick fly around. You've got about an hour, so you could actually make it a slow one. About how far out would you be going?
Probably 100 feet, 200 maybe.
Okay.
She'll go up to 200 if she sees anything interesting or the kind of terrain is easier to make a circle of.
Yeah. All right. It's kind of a lopsided, windy circle just because of the variance of the terrain and the trees
Yeah,
and so
that's
on.
why I said 100 to 200, but yep.
Yep, 100 to 200. Okay. It's not fully dark. It's only dim, but I'd say that eye shot does get a little tricky at or before the 100 feet. Go ahead and give me a perception check for your general patrol. By all means, guidance.
I'm remembering. I'm not rolling
You're
as well as I
training
want
yourself.
to. 15.
15, okay. Alright. You,
She might also just, as a side thing, keep an eye out for any just plants that interest her.
okay. You don't really come up with too much. It's forest under snow. The only things recognizable in this state are various trees, and they're pretty mundane varieties. Yeah, you fly around and you don't really see much.
Lantern stays neutral the whole time.
It does the whole time.
She might just kind of stop at that 200 mark and just sit and listen for a bit.
Okay. Yeah, you sit, listen, and it's quiet. It's almost too quiet.
It's weird being in a forest with no sound of life.
Exactly. It's getting on towards afternoon, you're pretty sure. It's hard to tell. Light seems filtered.
Can she, like, give a check of time based on the estimations of her weather report.
Yeah, it hasn't started snowing yet. And that was probably more towards the latter half of your mini weather report. So
Yeah.
it's more than 12 hours away. It has not been 12 hours since your weather report yet.
Okay. Since the one before we went in.
Yes.
All right.
You went in about 2 hours ago? Maybe 3?
All right.
Uh, okay.
Yep, and she'll
Kind of circle.
Oh, go ahead.
You circle back.
Float on over as the group is finishing up their ass. Just nothing that I could see, as usual.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm about prepared to go. Did I make any progress on sharpening that sword?
The 90% rust sword.
It's gonna take a lot more
25.
than it's gonna take a lot more than sharpening. That is like a full cleaning.
Yeah, he honestly just wants to make an edge. He's not trying to get rid of the rust.
Uh, give me.
No, ruin your whetstone, dude.
Yeah,
He can literally just pull out another one.
God. I don't know if this is sleight of hand or not.
I'd say
Polishing the
dex.
shield was Constitution. For
That was
How
just
about-
for sheer like time it took you.
okay. I mean, this could be for how long it takes him to make an edge.
Yeah, but that's still like you're only sitting here for an hour, so it would be more how far do you get?
I'd say dex. You're like sharpening it by hand,
Yeah.
keeping the angle straight.
It's also grinding those. I can see a lot of different arguments being made, so it's up to you, Ariel.
Sleight of hand.
Alright.
Dexterity.
Snap.
Yeah. No. Honestly, it was sharp enough to bite beforehand. But most of that is just raggedness. You kind of get a small portion of it near the hilt almost smoothed into something that might hold an edge.
But you best believe I'm turning that into a functional sword. I want that necrotic damage, BB.
The crack damage
Yeah.
was because of the rust.
The necrotic damage was not something inherent to the sword, I'm sorry to say.
He doesn't know this.
He doesn't know this, no. He knows that thing was filthy and it hurt.
And worst case scenario, now the village has an extra sword.
Alright. Okay, so you've got, let's see, you've got this body here in the bag. I'm just gonna shuffle it off to the side there. You've got this one over someone's shoulder, right?
Don't believe we've taken the
I
heavy
thought-
one.
Yeah, I put it in the bag.
Kane has it in the bag.
Okay.
Make sure you keep track of that. You have
Yeah.
editing
Oh, I am.
abilities on that bag for that reason.
Oh, I'm just putting it in my character inventory.
I wanted to keep the skulk because it was
I
still
deliberately
invisible, but
I deliberately made that bag of have you able to edit it so that you could make your inventory in there. So you can keep track of what's actually on
make
his
that
pockets. What's in his pockets or belt pouches?
He
What's
has
in that
literally
bag?
nothing in his pocket. He keeps everything in the bag.
Yeah, okay.
man purse.
Basically.
He's got a fanny pack of folding.
He's not the first. Yeah, he doesn't have anything. He might have one thing in his pocket, but he has literally nothing else that will fit in his pocket.
Real quick, are we going any further?
Oh, just a little bit, but I did have a thought. You guys did take a short rest, and there's at least a possibility of a level up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give you the numbers now, just to... Actually, I'll give them to you after this last bit.
Yeah.
This last narrative bit. So we'll worry
We
about
can
that.
we can do it before the next session at worst.
Exactly. All right. So you're picking up, gathering up, getting ready to head on. Perhaps the same downhill slope, perhaps a new direction. You don't know. Do you still have the lantern running, or is it just or
It
is
lasts 6 hours. Like I don't.
You've already used 1 hour going around the town. You've used 2 hours during travel. You're down to half. You can shut it off. It's not use it or lose it sort of thing.
Okay.
Just so you know,
When
but you can keep it running if you want.
If Calda's traveling on foot, she will keep it running. If she's traveling on the broom, she would not.
Can we keep it on a low light?
Yeah, Calda will. Well, it's only the low light's only 5 feet. Calda can't see shit.
You can see it's only dim light in this forest. But
It's
shuttering
only dim light. Okay.
shuttering it does not reduce fuel consumption.
No, I was just wondering if you could turn the fuel consumption down.
No,
No. Okay.
No,
that's what I just said.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
Calda will just save the last 3 hours. Turn
Just
it
until
off.
we maybe find something. If we see any glowy lights in the distance again, maybe flick it back on.
Or if one
Exactly
of us
what I
gets
had
attacked
in
by something
mind.
we can't see.
Yes, but I think that... Yes.
Okay.
Well, on we go.
And as you start to gather up to head out, you hear this sudden puff of displaced air and snow behind you. And you look back to see a familiar, twisty little face on a familiar, twisty little body. This time, no longer so beat up looking, as it seems to have taken an hour to rest as well as you did. And it seems to have taken an hour to do something else as well, as it has returned with friends. 2 more of its kind, each gripping around the shoulders and neck of a large, shadowy dog. You see the one that, in the center, raise its forefinger at the lot of you and shout, "They're the ones! Get
Sama
'em!"
throws a nice knife.
And nope,
It's
and that's where we're going to end it. We're going to start next session with initiative. There is nothing more to do there.
Hello, walking armory.
Oh.
All right, so that is going to be it. I'll go
Hello,
ahead
dream
and give
foreshadowing.
you.
Dream
I'll go ahead
foreshadowing.
and give you your experience points now. So let me do a little bit of calculation before you go anywhere.
Calculating.
Because if you leveled up, then this could be very easy.
Is it more than 700?
1 second. 1 second. Oh, wrong sheet. Where is that one?
I think that's
Plus.
where everyone but Kane's at, right?
Yep.
Plus 2 will-o-wisps. Where are they? They are a nice chunk.
Do we get the experience for the one that ran off at all, or even half of it?
No. He's not dead yet. He's
We're
back.
gonna fight it now.
He's right in front of us.
Yeah,
I know,
you're
but
gonna
there's
get him...
things about dealing with encounters without killing things that. Yeah.
I might put a small bonus on it, but
Like a rounding up rather than rounding down.
honestly, yeah.
If we're at like 690,
Divided by
give us that
4.
10.
You each get 300 points of experience.
Mm.
Devin, please.
I'm sorry.
Don't be
You'll
sorry,
be
it wasn't that tough of a
Yeah, you'll be
No, it wasn't.
fine. Nope. This is not going to be... The next one's not going to be that tough of a fight either, probably. Unless things go very poorly for you. Look at the dice. So. Someday I'll challenge you. This may not be that day. So, next week. Next week. Conrad, how are you looking at this time?
I could not tell you in the slightest.
Okay. You expressed doubts before, so I wasn't sure if you knew
Yeah,
anything.
I have no idea. I'm going to
Alright.
be in another city at approximately 5. It's like 2.5 hours away. The session starts 3.5 hours after I get there. So I have no idea.
Okay. So, we'll just go ahead and continue with this next session and hope for the best all
And if Bane
around.
has to be autopiloted by someone else, then
Yeah.
Yeah, then so be it.
so is it your
Oh, I can open it up on my phone, actually. Now I think about it, because I have the paid version.
Okay.
So we'll see. I'm not.
so is it just you being late, or is it you not being able
I,
to make it?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Once we stop recording, I'll give further explanation.
Yeah, that's okay. Alright then. So, how was that?
That was
Aside from
fun.
generally easy.
Ariel, your voices hurt me, but I love them.
Yeah,
They're so good. They're so good. I love
High-pitched
them.
ones
they're
hurt.
so good.
Never stop doing them. Never stop.
All I can do is the squeaky voices, but okay.
That's
the thing,
fine.
I
They're
don't-
amazing.
We love them, but it's just like it's like oh my god,
Sometimes you'll
it
just
hurts.
get hit
It's
with
good
it.
that it hurts. It's like exercise. Like it's like yeah, this hurts right now, but you know what? It improves the experience of life.
Half
Yeah.
deaf already.
I
Keep it
love that voice.
Alright. Is there anything else that needs to be said before session recording ends?
If you
No.
don't think I'm totally gonna dive into that very like bare bones sub story of the frickin' tower guard and the alchemist apprentice, you are. I'm.
Hey
As soon
guys.
as we're out of here.
Is that what you think is happening? Okay.
Hey guys. Let's never come back to Walton ever again.
Oh my
No, I have to
God.
give them these swords I'm finding.
Yes, let's
Let's
never
never-
come
let's-
back. Let's never
Let's never
once
let Alaris
come back
see his wife and kids
to the
ever
place
again.
where Alaris
You
You're-
can
has a
come
family.
back in like 8 months. You can come back in like 8 months, but like for now.
Oh,
Let's at least get back
you're
long enough to be like, hey,
so
your husband's still
kind.
alive. Yeet.
how kind.
No, we kill the blight and we just
Yeah,
leave
come
and
back in
don't
8
say
months.
anything.
You know, every month that goes by
And
is
then-
We
another
have the
month
anim-
where Ariel could be like, no, Aurora and Gage are dead. Oh, lovely.
Come on, would I
Yeah,
do
we're-
that?
Lovely.
Ariel can kill my carrot called his family too, man. Don't worry.
Oh, please
I
kill
know,
my family.
I know, but
What kind of monster do you think I am?
Yeah.
here's the
No,
here's the
Ariel,
thing.
Ariel, I'm begging you, kill
I-
my family.
Hmm.
He's
Here's
a
the
little
thing,
bitch, needs to be
my-
silenced.
my characters either have like pre-established, yeah, they're dead, or you know, this. And it's never, you know. So this is only my first time having, you know, the possibility of alive significant others and kids being dead. So that's fun.
Have fun with that anxiety.
Yeah, you've already had fun with that anxiety.
I'm
haven't
still
yet.
having-
Okay, listen.
I'm still
Okay.
having fun with that anxiety. Conrad can blow up Lucerne whenever the fuck he wants.
I am going to make this blanket
It's a bazooka I'm
promise.
saving.
You guys' significant others and families will not be given off-screen deaths.
What about pen pals?
Pen pals too.
I don't like the pause there, but
Off
Had to think
screen.
about it. I had to think about it and think about how much ammunition I was potentially giving you guys. Like, no, pen pals with everybody. Whatever.
Off screen.
no, I'm
Important.
talking about the dragon girl.
Yeah, I know.
She's a dragon. She can. I'm not gonna say anything else. It'll jinx it so much.
Okay, well,
she's
hold on.
good.
Better question. What about BFFs?
Yeah, probably not.
Again,
Probably
keyword,
not.
off screen.
Off-screen.
Off screen.
Off screen.
I am not going to have you guys roll up to a place and to be like, oh, hey, by the way, bad news, they snuffed it. Like a week ago.
At the very least, make it a peduncle where you watch it burn to the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
You guys are gonna have it. If that ever comes up, you guys will have a chance to maybe save them.
Yeah.
Right?
A
Chance to
chance to
maybe save
maybe.
Yeah,
D&D
that's,
works. Everything's a chance to
that's-
maybe save shit.
that's how D&D works, yeah.
No,
I
it's
know, but-
it's
There's
just
the
this.
emotional payoff
it's the
in
voice.
you rolling up and it being gone.
So
It's
I've invested too much already.
no, Ariel. You don't understand. It's not just that's how D&D works. It's that I'm watching the green square right beside the name "A Very Trustworthy GM" say those words to me.
Evan, can you do me one favor?
Hmm.
Please turn your voice modulator off.
Uh-huh.
Also, is the recording done or is it still on?
No,
It
it's still
can be
going.
done at any point.
Yeah, you can tell me to stop at any time.
Yeah, let's go ahead and end it here. We'll keep our off-topic ramblings out.
It was
Until
somewhat
we
on topic,
die.
but
It was
yep.
somewhat.
All right.
Until next week.
Until whenever, where everyone
Yeah.
dies.